I can check it. They share, we can share.
So I'm giving you the address. So you know her age and I'm on second.
Hey, this one.
Oh, my recursion.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. It's an exciting evening for all of us. If we could, I'd like to call this regular meeting of the City Council of Glen Rose, Texas to order for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. And if you would, I'd like to ask you to all rise who can. And if Pastor Moore will give the invocation, please.
Let's pray. Lord, we're thankful for this large crowd that's here tonight. Lord, we're thankful for our council, those that are about to stop serving, those who are beginning to serve. Ask you to bless them. And Father, we just pray you help us in all the decisions and discussions that have to be done tonight. We ask this all in your name, Jesus.
Thank you, Dennis. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Okay. All right, roll call. Councilmember Mann,
Present.
Councilmember Schultz,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Conrad,
Present.
Councilmember Freeze, Councilmember Bruni.
Present.
All right, we have a quorum. We're going to make a little bit of a change here. Before we do the citizen visitor comments, we're going to go ahead and have the canvassing done for the election that was just held and install the new members before we do comments. So I will read your instructions to the comments after we begin this, and if we can canvass the vote, those members.
Any jokes?
I know that. That's what that's for.
There's a fellow beating golf today.
That's not what I heard.
Well, I'm sure you did. Okay, we're now going to consider and ask for the results of the canvass and a motion to be held regarding the May 3rd, 25 election.
I want a motion to accept the canvass results for the May 3rd, 2025 election, declaring Lori Mapes. Where's she at? Oh, there she is. And Richard Bruning. Congratulations.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? 5-0 passes. We accept the new members and the canvass results. If we could administer the oath of office to the newly elected council members. Laurie, Richard, you'll take.
Let's do Laura Mapes first.
Yep.
Your husband in here.
You want to get her dad?
Been a long day.
Are they coming? Mom and Dad?
Come on.
Oh, wait, oh, wait. No, come on.
Yes.
It's in that shirt too.
I'm on video, David.
You got a camera on that phone?
Okay, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Laura Mapes,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
City Council Member for the City of Glen Rose.
City Council Member for the City of Glen Rose.
And I will do my best,
And I will do my best,
to my ability,
to my ability,
to preserve,
to preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Richard Bruning,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
City Council Member for the City of Glen Rose.
City Council Member for the City of Glen Rose.
And I will, to the best of my ability,
And I will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
serve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Hey, yeah, come take a picture of me, please. I don't have a picture of all of us together.
How do we do George?
George, oh, George is in here now.
Well, we can wait.
Dude, is he coming in?
Sure I am.
Yeah, I feel like a
Come on in,
jet
Stuart.
Oh, Trey.
Okay.
Considered all that.
1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. I'm getting a bunch. Okay.
Thank you. Miss you, George.
Okay, all right.
I'll bless
Okay, for Mayor Pro Tem, we need Laurie to take the seat. Dave, you can get out of here.
Deuces.
Yes.
Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Hang on one second.
We are parting gifts.
Also,
Troy.
Thank you.
so for selfless duty to your city. So
Oh.
thank you.
Thank
All right, Dave. One of the best parts of being mayor is getting to do this and sometimes having the last word. But I will tell you, I would not have succeeded as being mayor. Maybe I didn't anyway, but without Dee. We have become very close partners over the last several months. She is incredible on what she does, and it will leave a hole here on this council. So somebody's gonna have to step up.
Nobody should-
Now, I've got a proclamation. I get to do those too. With the official seal of the city. I may miss some words here. A proclamation. Whereas Miss Demetra Lemonsakis Conrad, treasured resident of the city of Glen Rose, whose love, passion, and concern for her community shows each day. Her commitment to her hometown will undoubtedly be lifelong. And whereas Glen Rose, Texas has greatly benefited from all her tireless efforts to better the community and serve the residents by giving each person a voice. Her resilient and continuous efforts toward preserving the history, culture, and beauty of Glen Rose. Very nice job there. And whereas the city of Glen Rose is honored to have Miss Conrad serve as a dedicated city council member, mayor pro tempore, and volunteer with various organizations within Glen Rose with fervent dedication to acting as a true caretaker of this historical town. Whereas Dee is far from finished with her involvement, Jonathan just said it to me. Service and dedication to our community will most certainly continue to provide a model for others to follow and strive to. And now, therefore, I, Joe Bowles, Mayor of the City of Glen Rose, on behalf of the entire city, city council, and city staff, do hereby proclaim Friday, May 23rd, 2025 as D-Day. A day that will live in infamy. I present this proclamation in recognition honoring Ms. Demetra Lemonsakis Conrad, prize resident of Glen Rose, Texas. And May 23rd, 2025, I have arranged a little get-together. I hope that works for you. That afternoon, we're going to meet at a local place. I'm going to be sending out an email, have it arranged, and we're going to have just a little celebration. You deserve it. You've been an incredible part of this council, longer than I've been here, and we're going to miss you, and we thank you. And please, if everyone will stand for this lady right here. Now she's got to go to a beekeeper meeting.
Got that too. Thank y'all, thank y'all. Thank you.
Okay, now if you don't mind to get to the important part of the election results, item 5. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the election of Mayor Pro Tem. I, as mayor, have the privilege. What? Oh, sorry. Laura, you got anything to say? This is good. Right now, we're going to give the incoming council members, I'm going to begin with you. Anything you'd like to say?
Well, I hate Dee left, but, thank you to her. And I hope that in this seat that I'm able to lead with heart, head, and honorable, just like she has, and make our community proud. So that's my goal.
I'm sure you will. Richard?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank our Heavenly Father for giving me the strength to be here and be a voice and hopefully be a wise voice for our residents and our citizens. So I'd like to thank my wife for standing side by side with me. And I'd like to thank the citizens for having the faith in me for the next 2 years.
Thank you, Richard. You did a fine job. I know you will again. Okay, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the election of Mayor Pro Tem. As mayor, I am going to start and I'm going to nominate Stuart Mann as Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd like to echo that. And I'd like to do so because I've never met a member who has been more involved and psychologically vested in the city and also the citizens. And so I think you're a fantastic candidate for this.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You second that?
Yes, I second your nomination.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the nomination of Stuart Mann as Mayor Pro Tem? All in favor? 5-0, you're in, brother. Congratulations, you'll be good. Now to the important part, discussion, consideration, and possible action on declaring the unopposed candidate elected for the position of mayor of Glen Rose, Texas, and approve the resolution 2025-R-02. Nobody's gonna say anything.
I move to adopt the resolution 2025-R-2 for unopposed candidates. Our mayor, current mayor, Joe Bowles.
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous, 5. Before we move on to the visitor comments, I get to say a couple of words. And I too, Richard, have my guiding light out there. Without her, I couldn't do this. Susan, will you stand? That's her. She provides me so much discernment, conviction. Our faith grows because of her. And it is one wonderful blessing from God that I have her in my life. And I would not have done a second term except she wanted me to. And I have another person here that started this whole thing. I was getting my hair cut in Granbury, Texas. And my barber gave me a pen, said, "Hey, I want you to have this. You need to run for something since you're moving to Glen Rose." And Connie, where is Connie still here? Did she leave?
I think she just left.
Oh, she did. Anyway, former mayor of this city.
She left.
Okay. In any case, she was instrumental in encouraging me to do it. Some of the merchants, some of the other people asked me to come again, and I appreciate that. And I want to run the city like I did before in a godly manner. I know I went unopposed, and there were people in this room that probably would rather me have not been mayor again, maybe. But I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to run it in a godly manner. And if you have an issue, you have a question, you know you can come to me. I've been there. So thank you again. I am privileged to represent this wonderful city. Now we'll get on with citizen comments. I ask that each individual that addresses the city council do so in an orderly and respectful manner. Please attempt to address any issues, concerns, or suggestions in the public comment section of the meeting. Public comments outside of this section will be limited. All speakers shall approach the podium, provide your name and address. The comments from the public during both the agenda items for the public hearings and agenda items for individual consideration will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Each person will be allowed to speak once, and your time allotted cannot be shared with anyone else. I ask everyone silence your cell phone for the duration of the meeting. Council members will give their undivided attention. We ask that speakers and presenters please do so, and we will give you the undivided attention you deserve. All those in attendance, please have the courtesy for quiet and reserve your comments until after the meeting, please. And I ask that all council members please be acknowledged by the meeting chair before you speak. Thank you. And we'll start. Do we have a list?
For your notes.
Huh?
Just get me paper for this.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay, our first speaker is Tracy Joyner. And remember to give your name and address, please, Tracy.
Is that microphone on up there?
Yes.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Tracy Joyner, and I live at 1272 County Road 2004 in Glen Rose, and I own the store Front Porch Designs on the square. And I'm here tonight to address council and say, number one, thank you. We know that y'all work tirelessly on behalf of our downtown merchants to make our city better, and that y'all genuinely care. And so there are a lot of us here tonight to express our thoughts on things, and we want to say thank you. But this week I looked up our 2022 comprehensive plan that we adopted as a city. And so I just wanted to go over some of the highlights there. It says that there are 6 guiding themes and principles for Glen Rose. We are to be welcoming, unique, historic, natural, close-knit, and prosperous. And so I don't want to stand here before City Council with just complaints, but I would just like to say that we have suffered financial hurdles with the current code enforcement, but find it necessary to speak up on behalf of all the merchants tonight, not just myself, but all of us. If you are here tonight to speak on this issue, would you all stand? A lot of us are here, and I'd like to, if you're here to support, and even if you're not a merchant, would you stand? We are all here tonight as one voice to say, we have a problem, and we would like to say that we fear we are choosing sidewalks over our small businesses, and we love the beautiful sidewalks. And we are a close-knit community, like it says in one of our guiding themes, but we should consider all businesses important. In 2023, my personal business had a 23% year of yearly sales on my front porch. That's the name of my store is Front Porch. That's almost a fourth of my business. In 2024, the new code was adopted and my outside sales dropped to 10% for the year. This year, with the added code enforcement, my sales will be 4% of my total. This will be a $50,000 loss a year for me. And I now have to make it up with other ways. And we have done that. As a group downtown, we have adapted and overcome hurdles. We've created ladies events and 2 successful festivals out of our own time and money. We are not failing downtown. We are a growing, thriving group of merchants. However, after my highest sale day at our latest garden club, of which a lot of the garden societies are here, we coordinated with 30 businesses. We had 8 educational talks, and we had 3 different garden societies involved. After our highest sale day, that Monday morning, I was met with code enforcement on my front porch with a tape measure telling me to get my plants back off the porch because they were in violation of code. And really, it just felt like a slap in the face. It felt like an insult and an overreach of power and control. We had just brought our community together, and we're here tonight to say we would like help. When we first moved to town, I drove down this hill here, and I saw this really charming, beautiful store. Stuart, I sent you a picture. I don't know if we can show it to City Council. It is a picture of what is currently an empty store right now, but it was filled with pumpkins. At that time, it was called Junker Treasure. And my son and I stopped. I would have kept driving. I had a small child. But the pumpkins and the displays are what made me stop and get out of my car. People stop and get out of their car every day at my store because they see what's on my front porch. And so this is why we're in Doe. Sorry. This is why we went into business. This is what a small town charm looks like, and this is what we're in danger of losing. Currently, we can have pumpkins and flowers, but we are prohibited from selling them within a degree. We can sell a little bit of them. And my question is why? Why can we not create whimsy and charm and be profitable at the same time? We're just asking to be heard. We don't want to be a strip mall regulated to one simple sign. We are Glen Rose, and we are unique. It is in one of our driving principles. We are natural. You cannot understand our stores behind glass and concrete. We need plants and pumpkins and beautiful things on our porches. We are close-knit, as you can see. So please don't choose sidewalks over our small businesses. And the last driving force is that we are prosperous. We would like to continue to be able to make a profit as we make our stores welcoming. There is currently no CVB director. We are the face of Glen Rose. We are the ones that offer the cup of coffee and say, welcome to Glen Rose. Here's a map. Here's where to eat. Here's where I would have my family reunion day in and day out, 24/7 downtown. We're the face of tourism, which what I'm told is the driving economic force of Glen Rose. We would like to be heard and considered as we move forward with the downtown master plan and codes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Should I be sworn in before we move on? Okay. Donia?
Hi, I'm Doni Gill, and I live at 1111 Morrison Drive, right outside the city limits, and I own Bernard Street Mercantile. We are a new business, so being a new business doesn't mean that I haven't been in business here for a long, long time. This happens to be my newest venture. I have had some of my employees tell me that the new inspector came by with my daughter's Philomena's temporary sign, which it was temporary, and we were going to replace that. And from what I understand it wasn't a very pleasant experience. So I don't know the man. I wouldn't know if I saw him. So if anybody would like to point him out, that'd be great. Because I have a couple of things to say. But my situation, I'm down off the square. I'm doing well. I mean, I've got a lot of vendors. I have a lot of great things. I don't know if any of y'all have actually been in the store, but it is a fantastic place. I do have some seating outside for people. I have some plants. I don't have a lot out there. I could have a lot more, and I probably will. But my point is that he came in and brought a sign that he cut down from my mother's building. She is also here, by the way. She's had that building for a very long time, and the sign was cut down, brought in, and told we could not put it back up. Didn't have any plans to put it back up, because I've been waiting on a sign that the city manager and the rest of anybody that had anything to do with that had promised me 9 months ago. Guess who still doesn't have a sign? That'd be me. And I even offered to pay for part of it because they were only going to pay for $500 of it. I'm mad. I had a man come in last week asking for oil for his weed eater. Yeah, so I'm ticked off. I need a sign. I need an apology. I need for some of these things to be cleared up so that we all understand why we're not allowed to sell things off of our porches. And another whole thing, my porch is probably 3 feet off the ground. I asked when I first bought the property if someone could come in and maybe put a rail up so it would be a little bit more safe. I do not have any ADA things on my sidewalk, which is causing a problem. So if some of these things could be addressed, maybe at the next city council meeting, I would really appreciate it. And also, one more time, a sign. I need a sign. So that is pretty much my main concern. However, I agree totally with all the sweet things that Tracy said. I just happen to not be that person. So if we can get some of these things done, it'd be great.
Thank you.
Sound good? Thank you.
Shayla? She here? No? Do we have any other public comments?
Who?
Shayla Hall is also on that form.
All right, we'll forego that one. No other comments?
Any other?
There was a whole.
Yeah, there's a whole list. There's like 3 or 4 he's got.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. I haven't. I probably over here. There you go. Thank you. And you know what? Just so you know, I'm gonna move Stuart down here. It's not that I don't like you, but I need his support when I'm going through things like this. All right, our next, okay. Can't read it exactly. Is it Bruce Diamond?
Like 3rd page.
As a reminder, it is a 3-minute limit, and given the number of names here, I really want to try to adhere to that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Diamond Bruce.
It's totally cool. They call worse. Okay. My name is Diamond Bruce. I work for Tracy Joyner at Front Porch Designs. I've been there 4 or 5 years, I guess now. So seen a lot of the coming and going and the way that it's changed and morphed, and it has been such a joy to be there. I just want to say that I am here today to express the recent growing struggles and strains on our small business. We all know that the small businesses in this town are the cornerstone of Glen Rose's unique identity. Our charm is what brings people in. We hear it, as she said, day in and day out. So the recent struggle examples is, as she said, we had to remove all the metal, which we did without argument, without fuss, and moved forward, pivoted. You know, God provided something else, and so we moved into clothing a little bit more, and praise God, that's worked out a little bit more. But after the plant situation, we have had multiple people, even some people of authority would come through and say that it looks beautiful, it looks fantastic. Why, you know, why is there an issue? Well, then we have to go, I'm so sorry, we don't have as many. It's just, it's not fair. It's not right in my heart of hearts. I don't believe that it is. My husband was city manager for years here. So I completely understand the comings and the goings. Now, he didn't really allow me to attend many meetings, but I understand how it works, and that there's got to be restrictions, and there's got to be rules and regulations, and that is 100% understandable. It absolutely is. But it's gotten to a point where I feel like there has been more no's than yeses, and there's not as much working together from the admin part to maybe the business owners. I feel like there's been a lot of maybe not as much compromise and encouragement as there is just lip service and face service to say that it was done. And that, as she said, is a slap in the face. So I am thankful that I am here today to support all the businesses, and it's not just Front Porch, it is all of our businesses. And we have people come from the Metroplex, we have people come locally. And I'm gonna tell you right now that had we not had our local people that had personally called Tracy and said, hey, during COVID, nobody could get out, nobody could go anywhere. Local people bought into her and the business enough to say, we want to come and buy something from you, leave it on the porch. That's how we made it through COVID. People matter. The business owners matter. And they buy into not just your business, but you. And as she said, we are the face of Glen Rose. And that's what people see, and that's what they're buying into. So as much as I love doing what I do, and having the frustrations that are coming, I know that we just have to go through the correct processes here and the procedures. So that's why we're here, mentioning what we do. And also I want to say that the Bible says we're to lift each other up, not tear each other down. And I pray that each of us take the time to process what we've shared from our hearts today. We all play a very important role to make Glen Rose our humble, small town. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Shirley Smith.
I'm fine.
You're fine. No, you have to speak if your name. Okay, Kylie Kirk left. She's not back. Ann Carver.
Would you like the rest of the business owners to speak before I do, or would you like?
Yeah, we can.
Because mine's not on that topic.
Okay, I'll wait on that. Dennis Moore.
Dennis Moore, 301 Mission Street, and I have the privilege to operate the Somerville County Museum that's on the square, and I depend on all these business people to bring people in. We get people from all over the world, but we depend on them to bring people to the square, and I know that their profit margins are very small. You got payroll, you got taxes and all kinds of things, and it's hard running a business and keeping it afloat. And I appreciate them, and I'm just here tonight to say I support them and hope that y'all will listen to them.
Brenda Ransom.
I'm Brenda Ransom. I have Country Peddler 104 Southwest Bernard. I've been there since 1999. I don't believe that there's any other business that's been off the square quite as long as I have. I'm only open on a limited amount of time because I retired from teaching after 40 years, so I don't want to work every day. But I do like to keep my store open, and I do like to make enough money to pay my bills. And when you have a B&B next to you, or you have a flower garden next to you, or please God, don't be mad, have a church across the street from you, you don't get a lot of people coming down your direction. And sadly, Christy from LT&K just closed her doors. That certainly didn't help me any. And I think we always need something to be an attention getter. I do that at Antique Alley. I always try to put something out there in front of my tent to make people stop at my tent instead of all those other tents first. It's the same way with my store. If we all look the same, we don't attract attention. And having a few things out on the sidewalk that represent your business, I think draws people in. I know that it's really hurt Tracy and some of the others much more than me, because I do not depend on Country Peddler to make my living. It's my joy. It's what I do. But we are unique. People keep coming in my store and they say, don't let them change your town. And y'all are changing it. And I don't like it. Thank you.
Gabe Campos.
Sure.
Please.
Thank you much. Good evening, council. My name is Gabriel Campos. I'm at 1221 County Road 1017. And I also own the building at 101 Southwest Barnard Street. So I've handed you a document with some points about what I'm going to discuss in a little bit more detail. But I just wanted to go over what's been on my mind for the last couple of weeks. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Recently, when discussing the potential sale of my building and presenting the options available with the city administrator, this was the response I received. I would rather see the building left in its current condition and underutilized than to see it renovated and used as an office. I shared this quote tonight because it left me wondering, does the council feel the same? Is that truly the position we want to take when a local business owner is ready to invest, restore historic property, and contribute to the economic life of the square? As a member of the Historic Preservation Commission, I know that the topic of historic preservation and restoration is an important one to the city. Allowing a new owner to restore the building to use as his office would demonstrate that the council also walks the walk when it comes to preserving the character and vitality of the downtown area. While the current schedule of uses does not permit buildings in the central business district to be utilized as offices, I would respectfully ask, would the council consider allowing this business to be used in that way, if it means restoring, renovating, and putting back into use an otherwise underutilized property on the square? Thank you.
Lisa Anderson.
Hello, council. My name is Lisa Anderson. I'm a realtor with Clark Real Estate Group. I represent the potential buyer for this property in this transaction. I thought I could remember. I'd just like to follow up with what Mr. Campos said regarding the building at 101 South Bernard Street. I represent the potential buyer in this transaction. My client appreciates the history of the building, and we believe that his business would add value to the square, not only with his clients, but potential new clients as well. Not only by potential new clients coming to the square, but by renovating the building and really flanking that corner, making it beautiful. My client and small staff are looking forward to engaging in downtown events and bringing life to the building, and we respectfully ask council to consider putting this on the agenda for discussion.
Thank you. Cheyenne Edwards.
Mine's for items the items that I listed, not general.
Okay.
comments. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Sharon Lawler.
She's coming.
Hurry up, Sharon.
My name is Sharon Waller, and I live at 812 Southwest Bernard Street. And I have lived here for 60 years. I actually graduated from Glen Rose, and I've seen a lot of change. I do want to, I've seen it watch it go up and down. And I think what the local businesses that bring so much into our community, it would be great to have them be able to put things out there again like it used to be. Now, I don't know about your code that much, to be honest with you, but I just feel like that the support of the businesses would be great. And I know you have wisdom and helping them with their financials and everything. They work really hard to bring different things into Glen Rose besides the people. They bring all kinds of items that you don't ever see in some of the other towns that you go to. I prefer it to be with character. I think it gives it character if it has things on the porch that makes it beautiful, more attractive. I'm a shopper, so I know how you look around, see what's on that porch if you see something you might like. So I'm just here to support the local businesses and each one of them in our downtown district. I know the city on the Highway 67 get to do pretty well what they want to, but the ones at downtown, they don't get to because of the sidewalks and everything. So I would appreciate very much if y'all would consider redoing that code that's there. Thank you.
Back here? What? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mac Bone, and I own Bonanza Barn on the square. I live at 1117 County Road 306B in Rainbow. And I'm here to address the sidewalks issues. We're a small town, little old Glen Rose, and that's why they come to see our parks and then to shop on the cute square of Glen Rose. Aside from the multiple buildings that do nothing for retail or tourism on our square, our little shops do. We're the backbone of the square. We give them directions all over town. We serve the tourists gladly. We know where to send them to eat, sleep, and go stay and play. There are many that return as repeat customers, and we get to know them very well. And they ask where the stuff is. Because I used to have dinosaurs out on my sidewalk, maybe a buffalo, birdhouses, and it was very charming. The customers would run across the streets to our shops because they wanted to see what was outside, and it gave them an idea of what was beyond our doors. And they would say, "Would you please save that for me? Oh, I want that dinosaur. I'll be back in a few hours." But now we're told not to and to conform. So now we look sterile and boring. Our square is smaller than Granbury, and we need to be different, not the same. And we don't want to be the same. We stopped buying much of the retail at my shop because of the new codes, and it hurt our sales. I used to buy it like every month or two, hundreds of dollars worth of it at one time. But I stopped for about 7 months because I was like, where am I going to put it now? I finally gave in a month ago. I went and bought a bunch of it, and I stuffed it wherever I could find a spot. I would hate to think that the attitude, if you don't like this in the codes, you could just move on. I hope that's not the case. I've caught myself complaining to customers when they say, "Where are the metal dinosaurs?" and etc. And the new strong arm rules, I find, are kind of petty. We are losing our charm little bit by little bit. Glen Rose is different, and we'd like to keep it that way. It needs to be sweet and cute and fun. And so I'd ask you to don't Granbury my Glen Rose.
Amen.
Janet Mills? Okay, thank you. Kelsey Crawford?
Guys, my name is Kelsey Carpenter. I live at 205 Hilltop Drive or Road. One says one or the other, so whatever you want would be great. I'm just here in support of the merchants. I am a big local supporter, shopper, small business supporter. And over the last couple of years, it's starting to look kind of sad down there because things have been taken away from them. I love to see downtown be vibrant and full of life, and it is just sad and vacant looking to me when I drive down there now. When I see something in front of a store window, I'm gonna want to stop and look because that caught my eye, not from what's behind the glass in that store. So we just want diversity as a community. We want to support Glen Rose as a welcoming and unique town. As a customer, I love arts, I love plants, just different types of diversity, seasonal things that would be great for the merchants to have on their porches. Thank you. And so if y'all would just consider checking with that code and supporting the merchants, because I would rather shop in Glen Rose than go anywhere else personally.
Thank you. I've got kind of two names in one line. Sandra Harris.
My name is Sandra Harris. I live at 1125 County Road 1005. I'm a newbie. I've been here almost 9 years. When we moved to Glen Rose, the one thing we liked about it, besides the people, was the charm that it has. Glen Rose has a charm that most cities don't have. And when we first came here, me and my husband, the one thing that we said to people that we would meet is, yes, we're new, but we're not here to change your town because we love it the way it is. We came here because we love it. We didn't come here to change it. And so we are seeing some changes, and I'm here to support these merchants because I don't want change, not that kind of change. But I remember going to the front porch many years ago, and I needed to buy a gift for somebody. Well, she had plants all over her porch, and I was like, oh, that'd be a perfect gift. So I went in and I bought a plant. And if I hadn't have seen that, plants all over her porch, I would have never gone in her store. I mean, I can honestly say that. I think the things outside attract people to their stores. They bring them in, people say, oh, that's cool. Let's go see what else is in there. I hate to see Glen Rose lose that. I don't want to see Glen Rose lose that. I love it here. I want to continue to have friends and relatives come to our town and say, that's a cool place to go. We're going to come back next year. And so I don't want y'all to lose that. I hope y'all consider this and take these merchants constructive criticism in a good way, that you want to keep it the way it is. You don't want to, and change is not bad, but some things we need to keep the same. And the charm in Glen Rose, I love these people. They're wonderful people. They're charming, and the city is charming. And I just want y'all to think about that and try to help them keep it that way.
Thank you. Dan, you did not have any specific, do you have general comments? Please.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ann Carver, and I actually reside in the county, but I run and operate as president of the nonprofit, the Bernard's Mill and Art Museum at 307 Southwest Bernard Street. Thank you for this opportunity. Put them on so I can do this. First, I want to say that Rita will be missed. Yes. And I appreciate the time and effort that she gave to this city. Second, I want to stress that I share thoughts tonight, not as criticisms, but as someone who deeply cares about promoting our city and helping to grow in the right direction. And for those of you who may or may not know, but everywhere I go, I promote this city. I'm on a cruise in Greece and in the Middle East, and I'm handing out business cards and things about the city of Glen Rose. So the most recent departure should be a trigger to pause and reflect at what might be contributing to the turnovers. Whether it's salary, workload, lack of tools, or support, or management, especially specialized areas like tourism. It's worth asking, how can we better support our teams moving forward? Rita had reached out to me during her time in this role. I offered help based on the things that we have done in the past. And as many of you know, I worked closely with the previous CVB director for 10 years as a volunteer promoting this community. For example, we offered, and when I say we, I'm talking about the Somerville History Foundation, Bernard's Mill. We offered to help with the mailing at our own expense to promote local events. She was open to the idea, but she never provided the information. I'm not sure if she didn't have what she needed or was directed not to share. But it raises questions about how well equipped the role is to succeed. Since the CVB position is funded by hotel occupancy tax, it should be focused on encouraging tourism with overnight stays in mind. As someone who manages on one of only 2 tourism sites within the city limits, if you all realize that everything else is without the city limits, we are the one of the 2. I've noticed there may be opportunities to strengthen marketing in our area. Visitors sometimes have difficulty finding information, as we've all heard this evening. It's the merchants who provide it, and as Bernard's Mill, we also provide it. And some shows that we participated in this past year, and when I say this past year, I'm talking about March of 2025, so it's really not a past year, like the Dallas Travel and Adventure Show, the booth did not decorate nor really have a draw for it. And that comes out of hotel occupancy tax. Again, this is not a critique, but rather an example of where the real potential lies to improve how we promote all great things our city has to offer. Lastly, I'd like to call out that we may have a huge opportunity to provide clarity and consistent progress around who's responsible to track all required hot tax. I think I got the wrong glasses. All hot tax payments and manage that collection. My understanding is the county has a process that has helped them ensure that they aren't missing any payments. So we may want to create a similar process. We don't need to recreate the wheel, knowing that every penny counts. My goal in speaking tonight is simply to help us ask questions so we can build on what's working and improve where we can. I am proud of this city, and I want to see it thrive. Not just for the residents, but for the visitors and the businesses we hope to attract. I believe with honest dialogue and collaboration, we can move forward in a way that benefits everyone. One final comment I have to make is this. Those of y'all know I sit on historic preservation. Secondly, I attended Real Places this past April, which deals with preservation, and I attended on behalf of the Somerville History Foundation, the Bernard's Mill. And one of the classes I took, just so y'all get an idea of dollars, of hot tax, sales tax dollars. The state of Texas is divided in, I'm wrapping it. The state of Texas is divided into 10 trails, heritage trails. In 2023, because that's the figure they had, that was $120 billion revenue through the trails. We are in the lakes, and it was a $23 billion, and they don't even promote Somerville County, so we're left out of that in the city of Glen Rose a lot of times. Just wanted y'all to know that. That was my final comment. I hope that we take all these comments and suggestions tonight into account and that we move forward to better our community. Thank you.
I don't believe we have any other comments. Did anyone else sign up? She wants nothing to do with comments. Okay, and that will end the citizen comments. We have one piece of business that we have to conduct in order to have an official meeting with voting, and that's to swear in the mayor.
I'll swear you in first.
It says Texas Municipal League right here. Veronica, I'm sorry, but I don't want to have to redo this. And you will have to all do your comments again after.
I just got longer.
Second. I state your name.
I, Joe Bowles,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
the mayor of the city of Glen
the
Rose
mayor of the city of Glen Rose,
and will to the best of my ability
and to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God. Yeah. Now, let's see, Tracy, if you would go again, please. All right, we're going to move to individual items requiring a public hearing. We'll open the public hearing portion of the meeting at 6:26 p.m. And the first item is item number 7, public hearing regarding the city's TXC DBG grant, number CDV23-0133, amendment to add additional street reconstruction and beneficiaries along 2nd Street from Bryan Street to Crockett Street.
That sounds really boring. I mean,
My sister-in-law came just for the, put me in office again, look at it. And my brother-in-law, he's out here too. And there goes some more.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for your comments, folks. Please participate. Come, let us know. Who's doing this? So no comments, we can close. So close this. All right. No comments for this. We will close the public hearings on this item. And do what? It is 6:27 p.m. And item, reopen public hearings and go to, or we're going to discuss this one now, represent, okay? Numbers,
8.
Okay, discussion, consideration of possible action regarding this grant, please.
Mayor, council members, city staff, I'm Kristen Boswell with Public Management, and we're just coming to you today. This is simply a housekeeping measure. So anytime that we add additional activity or additional beneficiaries to an active current TDA grant, we have to come before council to request a resolution to authorize us to submit that proposed amendment that we just held a public hearing for, which is adding that additional street on Second Street, because there was additional funds left over. And so we're seeking council approval to submit this amendment to TDA for review and approval.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to reopen public hearings.
Yeah, we need a.
We're gonna approve. But she didn't present.
That was all she needed to do.
That's it? Okay. Motion
What?
to consider.
Well, I'll rather move to, I'm trying to think of exactly how the right word, regarding the Texas CDBG grant number CVD 23-0133, amending the grant amount to the, is it to the new dollar figure? What is?
No, so we're just amending the grant to add the additional beneficiaries and activity on Second Street. That was described in the public hearing,
Okay. Is that good, Veronica? Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor? 5-0 passes.
Thanks, I didn't know how to word that.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. There's no training involved here. Okay. We'll go to the next public hearing item and reopen public hearing at 6:30. And it is public hearing regarding a request for a specific use permit for short-term rental for the property located at 704 Northeast Bernard, acres 0.172, lot 00004, block 00001, subdivision P 0500, abstract A 136, Pruitt, block 1, lot 4, to operate in a R1, which is a single-family district. Any discussion, any comments publicly? Okay, we'll close the public hearing on item number 9, the public hearing regarding this specific use permit. And we will ask, is there someone here to speak regarding this?
Yes.
Okay, please.
My name is Mary Hunt, and I recently acquired the property at 704. I bought it as a existing Airbnb, and I just come to y'all to request that it stays the same.
Any questions? No? Are you guys familiar with it? You know, can you point it out exactly where that is?
Yeah, it's right there on the river. It says, it's called GlenroseGetaway.com. It's got a sign in there. It's the Rock House.
Yeah, all right. It's a beautiful home, by the way.
Thank you.
If I didn't have a house there, I would rent it, I promise.
So you're a neighbor, is that what you're saying?
Not far. Okay.
I'll move to grant the SUP for the short-term rental for the property located at 704 Northeast Bernard, acres 0.172, lot 00004, block 00001, sub P 0500, abstract A 136, Pruitt, block 1, lot 4, to operate in a R1 single-family district.
And I second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Schultz. All in favor? 5-0 passes. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is the close of all public hearings at 6:33 p.m. We'll move to individual items for consideration. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a request for a specific. Oh, that's what I already got. All right, thanks. Discussion, consideration, and possible action on approving the job description for the tourism specialist. Did we put that in the packet? Is it in here? Okay, have you guys reviewed that?
Yes.
Okay, any comments, discussion?
I'm on that one too.
Okay. All right.
Can I speak now?
Yeah, please.
Cheyenne Edwards, 200 Second Street. So I noticed in the packet, I think it's just more clerical error, maybe, I hope. So at the bottom of the second page of the job description, it says Glen Rose and Somerville County Tourism Specialist. And then the bottom of the third page, it says full-time non-exempt Somerville County employee. So is this a city employee or is this a county employee? Because the county technically has this position already and it is filled. And she is not a city employee, she's only a county employee.
She will be a county employee, employed as a city.
So
and
she
county.
doesn't know this. This has never been discussed with her. And I have a weird feeling of you approving a job description when the person who holds the job doesn't know about this job. She found out through me finding this on this agenda.
Well, first of all, it's not the responsibility of the city. She's a county employee. I know they have had discussions with her, and this job description is verbatim from the county.
Yes, I know it. My mom wrote it.
Yeah, well, in any case, that is not our responsibility to inform her
So
as the county.
why are you adopting a new job description? That is my question.
Because we are going to bring her on as an employee of our CVB.
With still being employed through the county?
Yes.
Then how is she gonna be an employee through the CVB? And then my other question would be then, how are you going to split hotel tax? Because in order to do that, she is paid through hotel tax. You would have to then again combine hotel tax, which means you would have to combine
She will not be
CVBs.
paid, the specifics will be presented. She will not be paid through hot tax.
Okay, I just don't like the assumption of a job description with this county employee without being specified, one, to the person, and then through being funded already through a hot tax organization
Okay,
to
I
another hot
appreciate
tax
it, Chad, but
organization.
we're not gonna offer a job to someone and do it until council and commissioners approve it.
Well, I just want to know why it was brought up as this with that description on it is my question. If they're not going to be a city employee and not a
Because I
county
wanted
employee.
to have a job description approved. Thank you, though. All right. Anybody else have any comments here? Okay. Any discussion, anything, any comments?
I move to approve the job description for the tourism specialist as presented.
Thank you, George. Any second?
I'll second it.
Second by Member Bruni. All in favor of adopting the job description? All in favor? 5-0 passes. Item number 12, discussion, consideration, and possible action on closing the square for the Somerville County Ministers Alliance Faith Family Night event to be held on June 14th, 2025. Owen McKnight was to speak to this. He called me late in the evening and had a member of his church become very ill, and he's going to represent, or he had to go to the family to represent them at the hospital. The Ministers Council is a group of all the pastors of various churches in the city. They requested that we close the square from 5 to 8 p.m. or so on this day. They have committed to a music act to come. They want to have, each church will have a booth providing a game, something fun to do for the children. They will have some vendors such as cotton candy, those type of things. There won't be beer or alcohol vendors there. It's just a start of something they'd like to do each year, is a family night where families can come and enjoy the square and have a musical talent that will be family appropriate. So that's what their goal is here. So any questions? I'll try to answer it. Tracy?
I have to go over there.
No, you can just speak there.
When they close the square at 5, does that mean they'll close it in the morning? Or do they close it at 5?
Yeah, we have a city market that when they got this date, we had canceled the city markets. Now they're back on. So the city market will be closed that morning as normal for the second city
That's
market.
on the back street. It'll be over there.
In front of NS.
What we're asking is when you close it on Saturday, it hurts us, but it won't be closed on every, just in front of the annex.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
Any questions, consideration?
I'll move for closing the square for the Somerville County Ministers Alliance Family Faith Night event on June 14th, 2025, between 4 o'clock and 7 p.m.
4 and 8.
4 and 8.
Second?
I will second.
Okay, second by Member Schultz. All in favor? 5-0 passes. Okay, number 13, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the Methodist Church land sale. As you all know, outside of Laura, you weren't here for this, but we have a process in which if we own property as a city, we have a process we go through to sell to an entity that wants to buy it. We have a bid process by the two adjacent owners, this of which was the church owns both pieces of property. The amount came out to $6,500. I presented that to them. They came back and said what they would like to do is see us give the land to them, and they would forego any changes we have. And Jim, you may be able to speak to this. Is Jim still here?
No.
All right. Their parking lot, the city street infringes, according to the survey, 10 feet into their parking lot. Therefore, we're taking up a portion of their ownership on Mustang Boulevard. They're going to do a survey to provide the proof of this. And what they'd like to do is give that property, just forego the changes there for in exchange for the 150 by 50 strip of land by their church. I think to me, it sounds fair. It seems reasonable. They'll pay the cost for the surveys and the proving of the, sometimes we, in this town, there's been some pretty crazy surveys and things done in the past, but evidently we infringe on their property by 10 feet. And it is a nonprofit, it is a church, and I realize we've charged other commercial businesses and personal property owners. We've charged them amounts, but this is a little extenuating circumstances where we actually have infringed on their property. So we can make a motion and.
Where on Mustang is the city property that they're referring to?
It's next to the church, the Life Event Center.
What we've already vacated?
Yes, yes. That property was vacated and then we offered it for the price that we came up through our normal process. And then they came and said, what about the property here on Mustang next to the parking lot that they have? If you know, you turn the street there, you generally drive through the parking lot, not the street. They say that they have a 10-foot, has been encroached by the city 10 feet into the parking lot. So
I motion to approve the action of the Methodist Church land exchange.
upon receipt of the
survey.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Her first second, Laurie makes it, folks. All right, all in favor? 5-0, okay, thank you. Discussion, consideration, and possible action on the new CVB ad campaign.
All right, council, I have Tiffany Shaw that is going to give a presentation. We talked to Tiffany about doing a marketing campaign for us, and we would like to bring it before council and get feedback.
Plugins.
Yes, it's right up there. And then it'll check your.
My first big
George
You got this.
Posted saying, will we turn the camera to the podium so he can see who's. I don't know if you're able to see.
Sorry for my.
It's all right. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, I left it.
And we don't need this.
There's Veronica.
Oh, over here. Yeah.
I think it's a filter on the video.
Yes. We'll set that before the next meeting.
Switch and the fact I have a
It's up there. Oh, it's on the other computer.
I've actually got special.
Yes.
Good stuff. I need to start.
All right. I think everybody look right. Or left. So my name is Tiffany Shaw, and just a little background information about me. I have lived in Glen Rose for almost 4 years now with my husband. And before that, I was in Dallas, and I was in the advertising marketing business for 30 years. I'm a creative director, art director, which is a fancy word for graphic designer. So I've been working with Troy to kind of let's expand and grow where we have been and where we can move forward to bring tourism to Glen Rose and to bring business to Glen Rose and to give a new kind of whimsical look and feel to brand Glen Rose. So we're more than dinosaurs, basically. So we love our dinosaurs. The dinosaur is not broken. We know about the dinosaurs, but when it comes to tourism, we want to kind of educate people that we're shopping, we're eating, we have Fossil Rim, we have places to go other than just the dinosaurs. It's not broken. I'm not insulting anybody with a cowboy riding a dinosaur, but let's move forward. We're so much more. Like I said, there's your burger and your beer, your high-end restaurants, your shopping, golf, everything. So with that, I looked around to see what other towns around us are doing for a mark. And when I say mark, that's roughly a logo. So Burleson is the BTX. I don't know what that is. I don't know who it's for. There's nothing descriptive about it. Then you have Granbury, Meridian, and oh my gosh, Stephenville, thank you. They are, they're very proud of their courthouses, which we are too, but once again, it's a courthouse. And then, if you wanted to brand Glen Rose just in the Texas, it's still not branded. So I took some of these elements and what's kind of trendy, and I created 2 of these things. So you've got your Glen Rose, Texas. It's really cool. It's hip. Then you have something a little more descriptive with icons. Your knife and fork, your dinosaur, your music. And once again, you could trade out some of those names. It could be anywhere, USA, Texas. So I wanted to do something that's completely ownable for a mark for Glen Rose. We're a beautiful town. And I wanted to focus on the town, not necessarily what necessarily was in it. So I created this. We are 3 rivers that come together. We are very proud of our Glen Rose Tigers with that and with the GR, which you see everywhere. So I'm not really going to promote our high schools and our mascots in red, white, and gray and black. And so, but that GR is very prominent in this town. So I wanted to keep the GR caps and then lowercase combined with the lowercase Texas, and we are kind of in the center of Texas, so that's why I brought that. So the 3 rivers coming together, obviously our green trees, and that's kind of a brand that we can trademark, we can make it our own, and it's ownable. Because who else around those 3 rivers? Not many people. So with that, I took this, and this can show you how it can be utilized with colors and then reversed out to white. So from this, once again, so this is kind of our logo lockup. But then how are we going to incorporate all the other great things that Glen Rose has to offer? And in the past, like I said, we've had the cowboy riding the dinosaur, tons of branding around town, which has been great. And then before that, we've had single icons. So I wanted to go a little further and create, more kind of vignettes of icons. We're music, we're big rocks, we're food, we're, of course, the dinosaurs, the expo, Fossil Rim, etc. So I just made it gray, not to spoil the color reveal. So then, once again, I didn't want to just go standard red that you see all over Glen Rose, because that really does represent the schools. So I just looked outside, you know, we're green, we're blue. And so I came up with a color palette that's usable. It's still contemporary and it's modern. And then from there, I combined this with some of those elements. And this is just a very rough banner that I came up with, just to kind of show you a look and feel how it's still whimsical, it's friendly. People want to look at it, and it's identifiable. And then, be it seasonal, we can change these colors. So from there, I created just a rough, I don't know where, the sign doesn't really exist, but you know, it's a welcome to Glen Rose. We can eat, shop, play, and then you're representing some of those little iconic vignettes that I created. Once again, keeping it really clear, really readable, and identifiable. So from there, I was talking to Troy, and we have 3 outdoor boards, which are billboards. And so we have the one on 67, the one on 144 and 67, and then the one by Cheerful Heart. It's called the Cheerful Heart sign. Go left. So once again, we want to get these people to Glen Rose. And how do they get here to the downtown square? We really want to market our downtown square. So starting, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm backed up. So we're still in the square, sorry. So once again, these are the banners that would be around the square and on the way to square. I apologize. Changed my presentation to last minute. So these would be the banners that you see, and they would be peppered all over, and they're representing. It's not just one banner that you printed 12, 15 times. So it's fun, it's ownable. We're talking about our dining, our shopping, music, our wonderful bars and restaurants. Again, then we go to Dinosaurs, Big Rocks, and Fossil Rim. And then just for generic, and then once again, these could be made as directional signs as well for banners. But you get the idea, once you see the whole kind of banner campaign, you see how it all works. It's still friendly, and it just, it draws your eye. So once again, now we can talk about the outdoor boards. So here we are on 67, 7 miles out. We want to keep it concise and readable, and we're going 70 miles an hour, sometimes faster. And so we just really wanted to keep it simple. Visit the historical Glen Rose Down Square, 7 miles that way. Then you move down and you're stopped at the light. And now we can introduce some of our icons and our vignettes again. So there's 2 different versions here. And we have directional signage. It's all about directional and driving people to the square. Straight and then left or the next right at the next slide. So, and then down, once again, depending on where you want your directional, depending on who's trimmed the trees over by that sign, we might want to move it up to the top. So that's just another example. And then finally, when you're down at the light where you're turning left, turn left now. We're going to the Glen Rose Square. Eat, shop, play. Once again, keeping some simple icons, and that takes you there. So from here, we wanted to talk about how we're going to bring business. And Troy and I worked a bit on this, and I came up with something that Troy would hand out, everybody would hand out, and it's a brochure. And this is a trifold brochure, and it's a little hard to see. That's the front, the back, and the inside flap. Once again, put down roots in Glen Rose and watch your business grow. And I don't know if you can read the copy. I can send these things to you, but that's the outside and the back. This is the inside. Once again, we're taking our icons. We're making it a little more fun to read. It's not just a bunch of copy, but we've got talking about the tourism, locations, the growing community, the low operating costs, quality of life, and it's a business-friendly environment. And that is real copy that I took a stab at. So, and then, of course, you know, we love our QR codes.
that takes you to the website for Visit Glenrose. And just in a nutshell, that's our overall look and feel and way to move forward and kind of evolve and keep this going. And there's lots of legs to this. There's longevity to it with colors. You can keep changing out. And that's the one thing I love about design is give me a topic and I'll create. I can design something. I don't work in Canva. I don't just pick out stock art. So, I cater to what the need is. And I've really enjoyed working on this and hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, anybody?
We did have a person sign up to speak also.
Yeah, I was gonna get these guys and bring Dana up.
I mean, I can speak first.
Yeah, go ahead, Dana. Go ahead, then you might answer what Stuart's gonna say.
Dana Story Lemire, and I live at, do I need to go through this?
Yes.
Okay, 1378 County Road 327, Glenrose, Texas. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had one specific conversation with myself about specifically the pamphlet that's directed at bringing business into Glenrose. I'm super interested in reaching these small businesses, but I feel like we are looking at an old solution to current businesses that we need to populate the town square so that their employees come and shop and stay on the square and they do things on the square and whatever that is. And I feel really strongly that we need to stop looking at stock paper and that this needs to be an actual electronic presentation that people can flip through, that can be emailed, low cost, low dollar, no printing costs. And it goes out to the various business organizations that are chambers of commerce in surrounding larger communities. It goes to small business groups. It goes to all kinds of, entrepreneurs organization is probably too large for us, but other similar types of groups like that have an international or national affiliation, we are not going to reach them with a trifold pamphlet. If we want to get those businesses here that have people who are looking to move their family here, enroll their kids in our schools, and have a solid, viable business here, we have to prove that we are cutting edge. And you don't do it with a trifold pamphlet. We have to look like we are willing to gamble into the future along with them. And we're progressive. And so that's my big comment there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Council, anything? What? Were you on here too?
Yeah,
I lost my sheet, I'm sorry.
It's okay, sorry. I just have two comments. Tiffany, I love you, you know that. I think this is really important for y'all to figure out where you want to go, because now this is the fourth time that we've redesigned a logo for the CVB at this point. I know there's been changes, ups and downs, craziness, but we really need to sit down and dedicate, okay, this is what it is going forward, and not changing it every 6 months, every year, because we're losing people left and right due to, oh, we got this design, they can't follow what we're doing half the time, I feel like. My other thing is, I love the business idea, but that can't be paid for by CVB money. So that's, you need to look at as a general fund, you need to look at as something else, business development, EDC's funds, not a part of the CVB campaign, can't be included in that. You need to make sure you're spending hot tax correctly.
That's a good point, Cheyenne. I will say this. I agree with your assessment about changes. I want to move forward. I want to be progressive, but I'm not tired of got to go to Glenrose yet. My personal feeling. I think we made some branding. We did some things over the last year that were very positive. I think they brought people in. And while I saw some good ideas, you're exactly right. The driving the business.
Get rid of the cowboy and the dinosaur, though.
Well,
Just saying. All
that's up for debate.
To go
But,
away.
Troy's purview is more for the business development and those things, economic driving. But The CVB, we gotta find us a director. We're gonna have some other help come in soon. And we'll brand and we'll move forward, but I don't wanna leave everything that's been done and start a new campaign. That's my opinion. But new ideas are always accepted and I love them. And I love some of them that I saw there, except the one with the worms and the 2 ice cream cones up on the right-hand side. I'm kidding. That's a joke. Some great ideas and progressive is great, but in a managed and appropriate amount. Any other comments besides mine? No? All right. Any action? Anybody have anything that? Well, you know, we're jumping the gun. We don't know cost. We don't know anything yet until we get those items and get some details behind it. Work with Troy.
Comment. Can I have a comment?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead again, I guess.
Tiffany's amazing. She did my brand and logo, and I love Tiffany, and she is so amazing. I do question why we're rebranding when I feel like we just branded again. And I think her branding's amazing also. I would love that too. I'm just thinking, are we confusing the whole world is my thought. So I like Gotta Go to Glen Rose. I like the dinosaur and the whatever, but I just think we should pick something and run with it. So.
The dinosaur and the girl on top cannot be trademarked. That was pulled off of a plethora of items and it was just botched together. So unfortunately, we don't own it.
We don't use that.
It's not that we're not gonna lose that, it's just that if this ever, if somebody, we're gonna start printing materials and things of that nature, it's gonna come back and bite us in the rear end, right? So this whole process of using CVB money, which is collected by the hotelier, we're all good with this and because we wanna do this right. Correct, Cheyenne, I get it, that we've gone down this road. 9 years, we've had 4 or 5 changes. I get that. I've been on part of every single one of them, I get that. However, that being said, we are embarking on something that needs to have a footprint or that needs to have a solid foundation where it doesn't come back and bite us. That's where we're kind of going with this.
Yeah, that's certainly consideration we'll have to have, but without cost, real details, we can't take action, in my opinion.
I don't want to get away from Gotta Go to Glen Rose.
Well, that's, we need to discuss those in consideration with additional costs, maybe some early examples, samples of some kind, not the finished product, but actually looking at them and considering them all. I think there's some great stuff up there.
And actually, with Troy, I actually started with marrying kind of where we were to evolve and where we had to gotta go. And then we slowly changed the font. So we're trying to make subtle changes, but yeah.
Okay, we'll consider further as we get costs and timing and once again, consideration, do we want to just throw away what we've done? So we'll table this for further information, if everyone's okay with that. Okay. 15, discussion, consideration, possible action on a tourism comprehensive plan presented by Flat 5.
So I want to go over one thing. I think it's probably real important to kind of understand.
Is there any way to move this over to this? Oh, Rich, I guess you have a problem over there that I have over here. Nothing.
Oh, it's okay. Move whichever way you gotta go.
Swap it.
Mine's not working.
Want George over there?
Yeah. I mean, but no, I'm not. No, it's okay. Yeah. Don't poke me again when I throw my back out.
Well, then don't fall asleep.
There it is. So the chart, the bar chart on the right is about, do what? Let's see.
Probably not, it's in the PDF.
Bottom right.
You should be able to see the
Bottom right.
screen.
Okay. So the bar chart on the right, you see 2022, and so this is the downtown square. And so it's like you drew a fence around the downtown square. And then you look at, this is a software called Placer AI. It's pretty commonly used in the tourism industry. So it's pretty amazing. And it takes, a lot of different things. It can be credit card receipts. It can be cell phones, and then it merges them all up. Other types of information that might be collected. And it marries them all up to come with an accurate picture. Try to find out, are people coming? Where did they come from? How long did they stay? And you try to understand, is your marketing working, right? So in 2022, the bar graph shows that Square brought 340,000 visits. Now, we don't have a way to know. Somebody could have left, went home, and come back, and it's the same person. We don't know that. But we do know the total number of visits, 340,000. Post-COVID, obviously everybody wanted to get outside and do something again. Well, then it went down to 325,000 visits, 2022. So in 2024, we went up and we surpassed 2022 by, almost 20,000 people.
What was it at?
343,000. And then the last 12 months we're trending kind of along those lines. So when you take the whole year and spread it out over a whole year, those spikes you see are when we had large numbers of people that came to the square. Well, when you look at what those spikes are, you see their events and the holidays. So Biloxi Music Fest, July 4th, Labor Day, Wine Fest. Get to November, and then you're at Christmas Parade. Kick off to Christmas. And then some of the other festivals that we started into the new year. And if you look at the numbers, that's the 20,000 people that came to the square around events, right? So then you start to say, do we do more events? Or, how can we do this where we get more people all spread all throughout the year? And I think that's where we need to have a third party that works with other tourism departments. And, Rita had started doing business with a company called Flat 5 Marketing. And we're doing a lot of her marketing. These guys have worked with some of the best tourist towns in the state, by far. And so he couldn't be here because he was on a plane to see some family. But he did make this video that I wanted to play for you guys.
It's a little short.
And if you can read lips, you're gonna love it. Well, well, that was great, wasn't it?
We're super excited to hear your music choices.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's like some serious rap.
They're not mine, so I don't know whose they are. Well, Veronica, you have any ideas?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question while we're trying to bring this back?
Sure.
I just have a question. How many of these people are you counting as Ann Carver that drives through the square 10, 15 times a day? How
Can't
many?
say, we can't say.
these really aren't quote unquote kind of real numbers, true numbers, correct?
They're real numbers,
They're real numbers,
but we can only disseminate so far.
okay.
And we have to base our decisions and information on something.
I would bet money that's deduped.
That is what?
The numbers are deduplicated. In other words, if you have.
Well, maybe, I can't say.
Well,
a lot of those are presented and they do that. But
I was just curious how many of them are
yeah,
like you
yeah,
and
you,
me.
you may count 5 times a day. So,
Right.
but we don't know. That had to be somewhere to look at the process of it and ask that question. I can't answer it. Hey, folks, just so you all know, it's not rude if you're finished with your event, if you'd like to leave and go feed chickens or anything, something like that.
Tell
So-
your wife to get out of here.
No, I'm just saying that, please, feel free to leave at any point.
Can you do it? Can you do it?
It doesn't get much more exciting than this.
We're gonna change out Scott's got it on his.
Think about Placer AI, you can track where the cell phone came from. So you can track back to Dallas, or what have you, where that person came from. He can show you later.
And it duplicates. I know I can start 50 times a day. She's right.
The way artificial intelligence software works it ignores your 5 times a day, but what it does, it tracks that person that comes from 75201 and follows them here, tracks how much time they are and follows them home, because it's following cell phone signals.
My location's turned off, so it's not following me.
But it's following your car's GPS and it's following your cell card usage. Big Brother is a lot of
That's my car. I drive a 25-year-old Toyota, sir.
You walked right into that
Where are we going to here, Scott? We're going back to.
And the paint's going off.
It's okay.
Well, while they're doing, can I ask a random question?
Yeah,
about
please.
These numbers, just to fill in some space here. Okay. What years of 2022, 2023, 2024, in the last 6 months have we had somebody in charge of some type of tourism position? Whether it was CVB or whatever, which of these years? I mean, for the city of Glen Rose, because I know that it seems like.
Well,
there's
at
been
one point
times-
it was city, county together.
Right, but there was always somebody in these positions, or it seems like there have been times.
Most of the time. There may have been a month or two here and there.
Just a month or two?
Yeah, it wasn't, since I've been here, it hasn't been more than that.
Okay, for some reason, I thought there was like.
Actually, right now, maybe the longest stretch we've had since I've been around.
I just couldn't remember.
Okay, here we go again. We'll
This
try
video is
Scott.
the underpinning marketing. These are the people that do the Google and online video marketing below the surface that you rarely see.
Hello, it's Darren with Flat 5 Marketing. I'm glad to be able to meet with you. Sorry I had to be over video. I am traveling on this day. I am the owner of Flat 5 Marketing. We specialize in city work, both tourism and economic development, and worked with over 30 Texas towns over the last dozen years. So we've been lucky enough to work with the city of Glen Rose. We are currently doing 2 things to help you with visitation and tourism. Thing one is we're running Google Ads, which Scott has a slide to show you about. And the other one is YouTube video ads, both of which are designed to reach out to the right people in terms of visitation, to get heads and beds, day trips, events, things of that nature, to come to Glen Rose and spend money. So that's what we've been doing since the beginning of the recent fiscal year. Now, I know currently on the docket is a discussion about us developing a long-term plan for the city. So I'd like to explain what that is and why we should care about it. So what it is a plan that's going to help all of us guide ourselves over the next couple of years to pick a North Star that says, hey, the city and all the stakeholders have come together to say that this is the goal right here. This, and this are the business goals of the city. And for us to achieve those goals, we have to build a plan that is truly strategic and integrated. And those are not just cliche things. Strategic and integrated means somebody with proven experience to develop a strategy that is designed to reach very specific goals needs to marshal resources and pick the right direction to go. And that involves speaking with the stakeholders, understanding objective, what's possible, and then building a plan to do that. And integrated means the left hand needs to know what the right hand is doing. It also means keeping everybody on track that these are agreed upon tactics. So in the future, if somebody comes up with a good idea, even if it's the greatest idea in the world, if it's not aligned with the business objectives, we don't need to be doing it, right? So we got to stay on the track right there. And so what I've heard to date is the city wishes to reach out to businesses and industries that can invest in the city of Glen Rose, that can create a wider breadth of marketing assets, of tourism-oriented entertainment assets, I should say, to bring in a wider net of interest. And then that way we can develop a plan to get additional visitation, different types of crowds to come into Glen Rose. So really what we're looking for is the Venn diagram of economic development and tourism. Where's the overlap? And the end result is this. We're gonna have a document that is written in everyday language that says, here's our brand position, here are the talking points, the words that we're gonna sprinkle throughout all of the marketing, whether the city website, economic development website, the tourism website, here's the language we're gonna sprinkle out. So there's a unified voice of what the benefit of investing in Glen Rose is, living in Glen Rose, visiting in Glen Rose. There is a singular identity in terms of who we are and what we stand for, what we offer to the community at large. And then it's going to be month by month. We're going to spend money here, we're going to spend money here, we're going to spend money here, and supporting rationale. So at the end of the day, you get an honest to goodness plan that you can use over the next 2 years, over the next 3 years, that is going to help bring together the world of tourism in economic development. And that is the simplest, straightforward, and quickest path to success. Marketing succeeds when you narrow the focus. Frequency is super important. Repetition is super important. The average American sees 3,000 ads every single day. They notice 54, the next day they remember 4. But it's far better to narrow your focus, repeat, rather than sprinkle things around. And this involves gathering everybody up, having a half-day workshop, and everybody's opinions, thoughts, and ideas, untangling all this, building the plan, and then executing the plan. So I hope this explains what the current proposal is for. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can get a hold of me through Troy. And I hope you guys have a good meeting, and I hope to talk.
JC, did you want to talk about it all? Originally, he was going to present this, and
That these are agreed upon. I'm sure somebody comes up with a good idea.
he had to work tonight. So I don't know if you wanted to tell him about your experience with Flat Five or.
Yeah, so I've spoken with them several times, and Darren is a second generation marketeer, right? So he's been doing this for a very long time. He's worked with Waverly, Bernie, Granbury, Fredericksburg, lots of small towns that kind of resemble us. So this is kind of what I was talking about, that we need a base, right? This is where this particular study that he's talking about, we're going into a room for half a day. We kind of chart out, kind of like a comprehensive plan for EDC and tourism. And there is an overlap that happens, right? So he's really good at identifying what our needs are and executing a plan where for the last 9 years, we've been doing a lot of random acts of marketing, which does not work, okay? It really doesn't. So we really need to come up with some sort of a baseline plan where, and I've said this before, where council come and go, city administrators come and go, but us business owners are still here, right? So that's the important part. So we can't continue doing this without a plan forward. And he is really good at what he does. He will come up with a plan where we can go forward, regardless of who's sitting at the dais. I respect every single one of you. However, whatever term that you have, we're still here. You know, in this room, there's business owners that have been here before you guys were here and will be here after you guys are here. So, as a stakeholder and a person that collects a lot of hotel tax, this is directly related to me and the 5 other hotels and all the B&Bs that we have.
Thank you, JC. Thank you, Ms. Speaking. George has been here before the city had a charter, I
think Dennis was here then too.
Yeah, we need some consistent performance for sure. That's one
Council,
thing.
the cost of this is $3,300. And I really think having a company that is so experienced and that so professional, you know, we struggle, and we are now, finding people in tourism that have had experience, direct experience, being on a CVB. These guys work with some of the best cities in Texas. And I absolutely think that we need that kind of help going forward. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what we necessarily think about the marketing. It matters what the numbers show us as well. And the numbers show us that we haven't really raised occupancy rates over the last 2 to 3 years. We haven't raised the number of, people coming in for overnight stays. You know, it's great to have this effort around events that's bringing in people. The question is, how do we even out for the rest of the year so that we're not just bringing people in 6 or 7 times a year when we do a major event? Those are great. We love them. We have great sales tax days those days. But how do we spread it throughout the year and make it effective all the time? And, you know, diving into place of where people come from. 70% are coming from Glen Rose, county line to county line, and parts of Granbury. 70%. The rest are coming from DFW. Well, the problem with that, and I've got a heat map I'll show you, but the problem with that is they don't stay overnight. They're day trippers. And so, you know, what we need to do is cast the net further out, not just on the side of the boat. And we need to be marketing to areas like Houston. We need to be marketing to Austin, San Antonio, Shreveport, Oklahoma City, Lubbock, places where they're not going to turn around after driving 5 hours and go right back home. These guys do it. They do it for a lot of cities that are doing it well. I, for one, think that Glen Rose needs that kind of roadmap. We do it for other parts of the city. This is our #1 type of business. I mean, this is our industry. Why wouldn't we do the same thing for our most important part of our industry? So.
I have a question. Who are the stakeholders that y'all want to see present or that they want to have present in that half-day workshop?
Well, I would think they would bring in the hoteliers. I would think they would bring in you guys. I think they would bring in merchants on the square, since the square is a part of our tourism offering. Obviously, we need the merchants to be part of that equation. Some of our restaurant owners.
I mean, are we talking like
Woods.
Fossil Rim?
Yes.
Like those
Yes,
larger?
Fossil
Okay,
Rim.
leather draws too.
Every entity that actually helps in creating
Mhm.
somebody that comes in. You got Dinosaur State Park, Fossil Rim, Creation Evidence Museum. You got Dinosaur World, the Expo. I mean, all of these businesses that are bringing in people for multiple nights.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's represented
Yeah.
and has a voice in it. So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
What is their main focus gonna be, Troy? I mean, what is their day-to-day for us?
Well, I think it's giving us a map of how to draw more people here. I mean, we've been stuck in the same amounts for years. I mean, we can go back years and our occupancy rates haven't been above 40 to 43 in forever. So I think that's the question. If we're gonna keep throwing money, that's generated by hot tax, we need to show results, it can't be anecdotal. Hey, we like this. Hey, we really think that's cute. We gotta have solid numbers. It's working. It's bringing people from overnight stays. That is the most important thing. We can learn from what other cities are doing. We absolutely can. And having somebody like Flat Five, a lot of us don't have the long experience. So for $3,300, I couldn't think of anything more important than having somebody like them provide a roadmap for us.
So they're providing the roadmap. Are they assisting in implementation at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all included in the
That's
3,300?
if we choose to, after the fact. So whether we choose them or not, they're gonna provide a roadmap. Just like the company that gave us the comprehensive plan, they gave us suggestions and things like that. We could have went with them to do other things that are on that map, and they could have found somebody for us and things of that nature. But this particular company will get us a roadmap, kind of like a foundation.
Right.
And then we can go with whoever we want to after that.
Okay.
I've two questions for clarification that I'm trying to understand. How much are we currently paying them for Google and YouTube ads a month? I know how much I pay for those things a month, so I'm kind of curious about how much we're already paying them, so that's one thing. And then two, I think it's incredibly affordable just to go the $3,300, but that's not really it. I'm curious, when we're looking at hot taxes and the lack of growth, and yet I see that there are more people, tourists coming in to Glenrose, whether they're just day trippers or I see people that are coming for dinner and breakfast, which I do see people coming in for dinner and brunch, whatever. Are they staying at Airbnbs that are somehow slipping through the system and we're not actually calculating those numbers correctly? Do we know that we have a full, like, how does that impact it? I'm not even sure of the total question I'm trying to formulate. If council could kind of leave
How
that out.
accurate those are.
Yes.
There's no doubt it's not a foolproof system, for sure.
No.
It just can't be. There's no way to track it.
We have on the books, I think 59, wasn't it, Airbnbs, 57, 59, which is a lot.
Yeah.
For a town this size.
Is that in the city, just the city?
That's just in the city. So we have a ton of Airbnbs. So, there's obviously probably some that are not on the books, but we really don't have the manpower to sit there and track that down.
Got it.
And based on that number, it's probably not that many.
As far as the individual cost, we can get to you on that. Rita kept that more. We could probably guess, but we'll just get back to.
Yeah,
Unless you
but when
know.
you think about why you want to convert those day trippers.
I just think this is important for people that understand this though, because I know that currently in Google Ads, I spend at Whiskey Woods about $900 a month. And so if the city is spending that much, it's something to really think about. If you're spending about $1,000, a month already, and then this $3,300 on it, and then you add more and more, you just kind of need to know what you're getting into, right? Like that's it.
Well,
I'm not saying you spend that much. I'm just
Sure.
saying.
No, we spend a lot more.
Okay, so I think that's
So-
important, just to give people a baseline of what that
Right.
looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think with flat five, we're averaging probably $1,000 to $1,500 a month. You know, and we've got some other people that are doing it. And we got what was the click-through rate you were talking about? You know,
The
and
national average
look,
click-through rate is about 5%, we're at 1.8.
exactly. And that, I gotta tell you, you know, we can be in love with how it appeals to us. That doesn't drive business. You know, we have to think about what the customer wants, what's going to make them interested. And with that kind of return, you know, being that much below the national average, I think we gotta ask ourselves, are we really getting the correct message out?
Chad, you had signed up for item 15. Is that what you want to speak to?
Yes, I would like to speak to that. So my question is with Rita, I understand that we were buying into a lot of different contracts and different people marketing. So how many of those people do we currently hold contracts with, and now we're trying to add another one? Or I guess we already have a contract with these people, but I would like to, since we don't have a CPB director currently, and I know we're trying to look for one, and that's hard. One, I need to think about what we're doing now before we hire a person to do that. I understand we don't want to stop marketing because that's our driving force. We need to keep going, but we need to think about when we do hire somebody and we have all these things in place, how are they going to be able to do their job to fit into exactly what we're asking? And then how many things did Rita agree to have written down, paid for, XYZ already in place? Because I sit in these meetings all the time and I've heard her come in her reports and say, well, I've got XYZ doing this and this person doing this and this person. It's like we're doing the same 50 things by 7 different people and paying thousands of extra dollars that maybe we don't need.
Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but we
Yes,
have no
it's-
long-term contracts with anyone.
Okay, that's what I'm curious to know how many marketing contracts we agreed to or people that we are agreed to pay for X amount of time. And before we agree to spend more money.
Yeah, we have
at
nothing
hotel
long-term.
rooms. I really hope so.
Well, I can address that a little bit. Number one, you know, we've spent a lot of money in the past on influencers. for
Yes, a lot of money.
And so, you know, if, like, we still have, what is it, 95.5, the one in
The ranch.
Dallas Fort Worth.
The
That's
ranch,
the one
yeah.
we're using right now because of the.
So if everything we've been doing is geared towards the Metroplex, and we know that, hey, it's bringing us people for events, we don't have to stop doing that
Trust
entirely.
me, I know.
We don't want to cut that off.
I lived this life for a very long time. I'm just trying to make sure that we're
Sure,
addressing
but
all the situations.
you know, we might not want to spend as much on influencers knowing that we haven't been converting them into overnight stays. And so, and if 70% is right here around the Glen Rose community, and the other 30% is all Dallas Fort Worth, and it is,
Oh, no.
then guess what? You know, we gotta spread it out among the other types. So, you know, we've gotten into Waco, doing an ad there. You know, figuring that Waco could kind of be a little bit further, but they'd still kind of know what Glen Rose is about. You know, and the same thing with Austin, San Antonio, with Houston. And look, we just have to cast our net further out. But what we're doing really, it hasn't worked. I only call balls and strikes. It hasn't worked for heads and beds. So, you know, we can keep banging our head on the wall and get 43%,
Oh, I know, yeah.
or we can cast a little bit further out.
Any comments from council, any ideas, any action you'd like to take regarding this contract?
I mean, I like it. $3,300 with a group that we've already been working with. I mean, that are familiar with our community. I think it's a great idea to have a comprehensive plan. So, and that'll speak to a lot of what you're bringing up, Cheyenne, about like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? What technologies, you know, I mean, it'll speak to a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's all I want. I just
Yeah.
want to narrow down, we're spending money
Sure.
100
And so it
places.
just helps you with that comprehensive vision.
Anybody else have comments?
Do you have a comment?
Rich, George, where's George?
George is getting rebooted.
Okay.
My only question is 3,300 once and then you're paying after the fact more and more
Should
money?
you choose?
Okay, that's just all I want to know.
would it be itemized in any way after that, like?
Mhm.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
would you say we're gonna commit to 1 year and in that 1 year, we're gonna get X, Y, Z done? Or is it throw it all in? I mean, once you committed to, we've made the decision, we like what they've done.
Right.
What's our commitment once we make a commitment?
Well, I think, obviously the new CBB director will have a say in that, whether, based on their experience, what's worked, wherever they came from, right? And, but I think flat 5, I mean, while we do have this lull and we don't have somebody, I think it's even more important that we have their experience to draw on what we can be doing right now. And so I don't look at it as, we're all in and it's just this, because we do a lot of different types of marketing. So, we just have to land on what the things that are working and the things that aren't.
This is more of a shopping cart concept where we choose
Correct.
elements. We don't choose, I mean, we won't agree to do all of it. Like, there's some things we're already doing that they're gonna suggest. It's a shopping cart. We say, yeah, we want this radio program. We want this. But we don't take it all as a whole, and we won't sign a long-term contract.
For instance, they also do websites, but, we're redesigning our website because, it really didn't measure up to what other people were doing. Well, they do websites, we decided not to go with them. So it is a la carte. They're really good at marketing, not necessarily websites.
So do they
send them
help
a
with
new
the
session,
product
or will that
that
one
we're
work?
marketing? Like, she did
Yeah.
that great,
Absolutely.
presentation, but are they gonna take what she's done or what's been designed and go with it? Or are they helping us with that design? Because they've got the studies, they know what age group wants what things and who do you need to target what, like in this area, we need to be targeting families. This area, we need to be targeting the retired.
Right.
And so not only will they help us know where to target, but what to use in that target.
Right, and
Yes.
he made it very clear, they're not graphic designers. So when we send them, for instance, we sent them the advertisements that we had already done for the music festival. And so they put those out there, they're marketing those designs that were already done. This would be the same way. They would look at any changes we did, give us input, but they're not graphic designers. So we still would need somebody like Tiffany to do that design for us. And then I think we got, we still need to, we decided this year, spent a lot of money last year on our website. And it didn't highlight events or some of the other things that we wanted to do. We decided to go with somebody else and keep the hosting site, but make changes to it. Well, that seems to be harder and takes longer. If we didn't even have events on our page for 4 months, and we're saying that we're gonna do tourism around events. So, they will give us advice about where to spend those dollars because they are limited. And I think they're the best people out there to do it.
Sure.
I think having a comprehensive plan for the tourism will help us stay more on track of, like we talked about for the last 9 years, we've been all over the place. If we can get a comprehensive plan for that and then stick to that the way we've stuck to our comprehensive plan, maybe that would help. Even as people come and go, we still have this plan where they know we have this plan set before they take the job. And therefore, they kind of need to follow those guidelines.
They have like a clear direction.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Richard, you have anything? George?
I like the idea of the 5-5 marketing, but I'm just a little leery about moving forward before we even have our CVP person in place, but if y'all are good with it, I'm okay with it too.
So
Can I speak
you
to that
turn
real
off on
quick?
it.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, here we go. I think George has a great point. However, I want to say that this may actually help your selection and may
Yes.
further things and help define criteria, necessary criteria for the selection of the appropriate employee. Because you'll know, we need somebody who can oversee this, has this skill set, has this skill set, has this connection, so on and so forth. I think it would be a really safe bet.
Yeah, I don't think delaying moving forward with a marketing plan. I don't think we need a CVB director for that. It would be nice to have them here to interact and offer, but I think we gotta move forward. We need some activity for these hoteliers. And if these guys provide us with some good ideas like they have in Wimberley, and, you know, I don't necessarily wanna be Wimberley or Fredericksburg or any of that, but they've got ideas, and that's what I'm looking for. So do we have any action on this, Steve?
You wanna do it?
You can do it if you want.
Okay. I make a motion to take action. I gotta find where it's at.
Number 15.
And approve the tourism comprehensive plan with flat 5
$3,300.
for $3,300.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilmember Mapes. All in favor? 5-0. All right, sign them up. 16, discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding updating the fee schedule.
1 second. Can we introduce ourselves to Miss Allison? I went in there the other day and I didn't even know who she was. I was like going up the stairs and she's like, "Stop, you can't go there." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." But
Did you say like you normally do? You work for me, lady.
Thank you, Tiffany.
What a good one.
We got it all worked out. We're good.
This is Allison. She's our
Building official.
building official.
Yes.
Allison, what's your last name?
Couch.
Okay.
Like a sofa.
That's Rich, Mayor Bowles, welcome. Lori Mapes, Candace Schultz.
So, are you from Glen Rose?
I'm not. I live in Waco.
Oh, wow. So you come up here every?
I do. I live on the north side. I live in China Spring. It's about an hour. I'm not commuting from downtown Waco. That's a whole different.
Oh, yeah. How long have you been doing this?
I have been working in the building department for just over 23 years. I started out as in a very small town like Glen Rose, just under 10,000 people. I worked there for 19 years, started as a part-time building inspector and worked my way up to being the building official there. And I moved on to a few other towns, kind of getting progressively larger. I was last at City of Temple. I decided I do not like the big city. Some people laugh at me when I say Temple's a big city, but there are over 100,000 people right now, building 250 homes a month at least. I did not like it. I wanted to come back to a small town, and this opportunity came open, and I was really happy to find it.
Good. Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the fee schedule.
Okay, so really quick, Mr. Mayor and members of council, Stephen and I have kind of discussed, he was working on this before I came on. I've only been here about a month, but revising the City of Glen Rose Building Department fee schedule. Right now, if you look at our fee schedule, I think you provided everybody with a flash drive with the fee schedules on it. Our current fee schedule is very large, very overwhelming, lots of tiny little fees for lots of tiny little things that don't necessarily make sense anymore. This is the way we calculated building permit fees 20 years ago. And Glen Rose just kind of hasn't revised that. What we've proposed is a fee schedule that kind of lumps fees together into groups. We are basing the fees on our hourly rates. We've calculated what our combined hourly rates are for the department. And so we're trying to recoup our fees, but we don't make a profit. So that's why we have these different groups of permitting fees. We've calculated, how many hours we spend on plan review, or how many hours we spend on inspections, and those are in those groups that you'll see now. We're not asking you to vote on this and approve this tonight. We're just presenting it to you tonight to give you an idea of what we're looking at. We would recommend, if you guys have any questions, come in and talk to us over the next month. We can sit down and go over it in detail with you. There's obviously tweaks that can be made. This is something that like I say, Steve has been working on. I just kind of came on the last few weeks, taking a look at it. I think it's a wonderful idea. It simplifies everything for the customers. It simplifies everything for the staff in the building department. It's just easier all the way around. And it's more, the fees become more representative of the actual work that we do.
Okay, I think it's a great idea. We all have a flash drive. Did everyone get one? All right, we'll look at them, consider it, and then.
Everybody but George, he wasn't here.
Georgia just emailed them to you.
So we will do that. Thank you for the work. Stephen, I know you worked hard on that. And, we've made several progressions, and I think it's simplified and more effective, especially for the businesses.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, Allison. Appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you.
All right, 17. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding updating codes to ICC 2021 and NEC 2023.
All right, once again, this is something that's been in the works for a little while now. This is something every jurisdiction has to go through across the state and actually across the nation. The ICC, International Code Council, they publish their codes every 3 years, and the local jurisdictions adopt those renewed codes every 3 years. Generally, the code changes are related to clarifying information, new techniques. There's a lot of changes every code cycle for energy efficiency and handicap accessibility. Stephen provided, again, on the flash drive, what are we calling it? The significant changes documents for the residential code and for the building code. Those are the most prominent codes. Those cover how the building is built and all kinds of features within the building. The adoption will also include the plumbing code, the mechanical code, the swimming pool code, all the little codes. But we're just presenting to you the significant changes to the two major code documents, the residential code and the building code. I had an opportunity to run through the residential code significant changes. The majority of those changes are clarifying language. A little history, about 10, 15 years ago, the code council, we used to only have one code, the building code. They broke out a residential code and the building code. So residential codes for your single family homes, building codes for everything else. When they separated those two codes out, they kind of reduced some regulations in the residential code. And over the last 10, 12 years, we've recognized now that there's conflict with the building code. And so they're doing a little bit of cleanup, kind of making some language match where it should match, making some requirements match where it should match. So a lot of those changes in the residential code are kind of cleanup things that we've recognized over the last 10 or so years. The building code requirements, there's some changes. There's a new climate zone map. City of Glen Rose stays in the same climate zone, so there's no changes for the city of Glen Rose specifically, but that is one of the changes that's in the code. A lot of Texas has changed their climate zone, so they got different requirements for insulation and that sort of thing. I haven't gone through all the changes in the building code yet, but the ones I have are very similar. A lot of language changes and a lot of kind of energy code changes. There's some new additions to the code. There's some stricter requirements on storm shelters. I drive around town, I see a little storm shelter popping up every now and again. And, I know we get storm events around town. So there's some stricter requirements on storm shelters now. There's some new requirements on, they call them intermodal shipping containers. That's your shipping containers that people are trying to, yes, all sorts of things like that. So there's additional requirements every 3 years. Everybody realizes kind of what's becoming more popular, so they add some regulations to the code to kind of help keep those safe for our residents. So once again, we're just like the fee schedule, we're asking you guys to take the next month and take a look at things. And if you have any questions, come and sit down and talk to us and ask us. And we would ask next month to bring this back to adopt the 21 codes. We're on the 18 codes right now. We could go to the 24 codes. That's the most recent code cycle, but we're only asking to bump up to the 21 codes at this time.
All right, let's stick to this one then.
And just confirm, I asked Stephen this, I think, last month or a couple months back. Neighboring cities and communities are using currently the 21. Is that correct? That's what Granbury, Stephenville.
I have not looked at which cities are myself. I do know the lot.
Stephen, you have
Information's on the jump drive.
Okay, perfect. One thing I did not mention, we're a member of the North Central Texas Council of Governments. The COG puts out recommended amendments for cities to adopt. In the building department, we're not proposing any of those code amendments at this time. However, the fire marshal is. The COG amendments for the fire code relate specifically to smaller jurisdictions. They
are amendments that help a small fire department like the city of Glen Rose. So we have that information available. You can either pull it off the COG website or we can email it to you. It's things like shortening hose pull distances because we don't have enough people to run, a ladder truck and 50 firefighters to put on fire. We got to have amenities closer to the buildings.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
Okay. 18, discussion, consideration, possible action on allowing the city police vehicle to be taken home by the current officer.
All right, council, this applies to Colby. Colby lives in Godly and says that it currently costs him about $300 a month in gas. And so we almost lost him to another city that was offering a little bit more than what we were offering. And I think Colby's been a great addition to Glen Rose. He's fit in well with the community. Him and Buck get along really well. He reacts good to the community. He's out there, he's seen. So I don't want to lose him if we can help it. Taking the car home is something that other cities do quite a bit in other areas, including outside their own city jurisdiction. So it's not unusual for a police officer who may be on call, whatever, to take that vehicle home. Now, that being said, I certainly would be open to, maybe a stipend for gas as well. So,
as well or in place
I mean, in place of.
oh, okay, yeah.
So
Dang, what a deal.
My initial thought was when I saw this was liability, more use of the city vehicle. Maybe we need it here. I'm more in favor of a 52 cent per mile, which is the statute, the IRS code, than letting the car go. I think paying the money.
IRS is currently 70 cents.
How much?
70 cents.
It is now?
70 cents.
Wow, I'm getting ripped off somewhere on the long hair. So anyway, I'm more in favor of that than having the car go home.
Well, I think that would end up being quite a bit. I mean, from here to Godly round trip, 4-day work week. Is that correct, Buck? 4-day work week times 16 times. He works 5. Okay. So that'd be 20 round trips a month, roughly. I'm sure that'd be pretty costly.
what if we gave him like $200 a month just towards a gas bill? Sure, it would help.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. On the same token though, he knew what the position paid and what benefits it had prior to accepting the position. So I'm kind of a mix on this, I can see both sides of the plus and minuses of both. I mean, I don't want to lose them. I want to retain our good employees.
How do you feel about this?
I mean, I feel like, gas will put that to help.
Okay, so you're in favor of the stipend? Okay.
I have a question. So if he is out, because I know there was one night that there was a lot of stuff going on and he had to come in, would it not be more ethical for him to have the car because he can't legally speed in his personal vehicle coming to an emergency?
Sure.
My concern with taking the vehicle home is that's the best vehicle we have right now, and so it's on us, I guess, because we only have one. I mean, we have two vehicles, but I would hate for something to happen and then we get stuck in the Crown Vic between two guys.
I think I also worry about, what about the other employees that live out of town? Why aren't we going to give them a stipend? So are we really asking for a stipend, or is he asking, are we looking to give him a raise?
You know, I think, you know, we want to keep good employees, and I know that I believe we almost lost him to a position that was right there. And so
I'm
I
not
would-
sure, I'm
I
not
would
sure
think
that
so.
that was associated with the mileage, but we're probably talking about $350 here per month.
I would say, yeah, 350. But I would say,
Well, how expensive is it to add a new police officer to go out, to train, to bring them in? I mean,
probably
a lot
3
more than
years
that.
worth of.
Yeah. And to,
Well, my math round trip, if you did the 70 cents comes up to $840.
yeah, how many miles are you putting on that?
What's 30 miles to Godly one way? You gotta consider it being a round trip. So that's 60 miles times 20 days. That's 1,200 miles.
Yeah, you're at 1,200. I was happy not. George?
He's got his mute off, so I think he's got something to say.
Got anything, George?
I tend to agree with Rich. People take a position knowing the circumstances surrounding the job. We have a city, we have a police force. He wouldn't be the only one who would be called in, expected to immediately go on duty if we had an emergency from 30 miles away. I'm not necessarily inclined to offer a stipend or pay mileage.
What about him taking the car home? How do you think that?
That would be definitely out. I don't see that in any realm of possibility for me.
Well, I'm not saying we have to match the mileage. I'm saying, is there a happy median of some sort?
Would you be against a raise?
When does he do, Troy, for his, or Buck for his, he's coming close to a year, isn't he?
After he finished his probation for 90 days, he was done.
So he just got a salary increase.
October.
In October?
So we're several months away from his annual. It'd be October like everyone else.
Yeah. Was it?
Quickly, Shine.
I know I wasn't on to speak, but I thought in the budget we approved to buy another car, so why haven't we bought
It's
another
not
car?
here yet.
I just wanted to make sure, because that would kind of solve our problem with the Crown Vic, so. And I know we bought it, or paid for it at least.
Okay, any action, any other ideas, discussion?
I would just say this, we've lost 3 people in Public Works in the last couple of weeks. You know, it is harder and harder to get people. You do have to go outside your city. And I think it's going to be more incumbent upon us to, offer these stipends for people that are gonna drive 30 miles. Because in a lot of the instances, that's where we're gonna have to go to find them. So,
What percentage of a salary increase would this $350 represent? Is that like
Like what it net
5%
out?
or 10%?
Next to nothing.
And you can essentially just say that, you're doing a comprehensive look at other cities and how much they're paying, and so now it's time for us to bump them up and stay competitive.
Well, we already,
It
we
doesn't
already
have to
pay
be
more than
like
the
an
sheriff.
annual. So,
The city police make more than the sheriff.
Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff deputies,
Yes, ma'am.
the sheriff should apply.
and I know the sheriff deputies do not take theirs home if they live out of town.
That's very true. So I would think that we need to move forward quicker rather than slower about increasing or doing a stipend. I'm all about an increase in a raise, like have it as a form of a raise.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, Buck. I know his 90 days you said was October, but then his 1 year then will come up in August? Is that correct? So we're only talking a few months away, and he could technically be getting a merit increase at that point, depending on his evaluation and things like that. I mean, That's only 3 months away, so,
Where does he have it on the table?
Not at this moment.
I'm in favor of doing it now.
I just wanna say this, as somebody who uses the police often and I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for the police
Yeah,
often, right? And I express that to you, I hope, but anyway. If we lost a police officer and it all fell on Buck, it would really impact how I do business. And like, I think it's just wanna encourage you guys to think about like, if it's gonna take this to keep somebody in a position that we all like and make things so it's not disproportionate on Buck for public safety. This seems like a really affordable deal here.
Okay, thank you, Dana. I want to tell you what I think. I've seen a lot of employees come and go in my tenure, more than I wanted to. And it is expensive to replace, especially a specialized job like a police officer. And he's understanding the city, he gets it, he knows what he's doing. We'll assess his merit increase when the time comes. My opinion is we do something to keep him. You show appreciation. Yeah, he didn't, you don't always think about all the aspects of a job when you take one and you say, God, look at this gas man, I'm really not making what I thought I was. We've got inflation, we've got a lot of things. My suggestion is that council comes up with somewhere in the middle, at least, let's retain our employees when we like them. It's expensive to replace them.
I'm just concerned about the precedence it's gonna set with other
Yeah.
departments. You got public works folks that were trying to, you said yourself, we've lost 3. How are we gonna keep them if they're coming from Stephenville? We're gonna offer the same thing? I'm not opposed to it, I mean, because my first goal is to have everybody living in Glen Rose or in Summerville County. That's my first
Absolutely.
goal.
Go ahead.
Well, I just am concerned about the can of worms that it opens. So if it's something that we're gonna end up doing for him, it's something that we're gonna have to offer to other individuals.
Well, I don't think we have to offer it, you know, I'm not a fan of, I mean, I pay my players differently.
The vehicle policy is only for police department and public works director. So I get the can of worms, but we're addressing this policy, so,
y'all know where I land.
Well, make a motion then, Land.
All right, let's do it. I motion to approve an increase in his salary that would net him $350 per month.
Are you talking about on an after-tax basis?
Yeah, on a net basis and after-tax basis.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? We have 3 in favor. All opposed?
You can make it 4.
4? 4 in favor, 5, George?
No.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, we have 4 and 1 opposed, passes. So we'll have Veronica and someone else to figure the after-tax payment amount, whatever that may be. Chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, and green beans.
Bye.
All right, where are we?
19.
19, discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding approval of $170,051 bid for Glen Rose Animal Shelter remodeled by Longhorn Innovative Construction LLC. $75,000 was in the animal control budget for capital improvement project for the year. It went higher than we thought.
It definitely went higher than we thought. I'm asking tonight for y'all to bump my capital improvement budget up to 200,000, so we do not exceed 200,000 no matter what on this renovation. But not knowing what they might get into when we start doing some of it. For instance, yesterday my breakers popped, the main breaker to the building. Today, my compressor for my air conditioner was not working. They told me it could be 2 weeks to 6 months to get the new compressor. I would like to have the 200,000 put in there just for a safety net. We are only agreeing to his $170,000 bid. But if something else does go down, or they can't get this compressor for 6 months, we have something that we can go in and put in a different AC unit, something. It was 90 degrees inside the building at 4 o'clock when I left today.
Comments, council?
What we are asking for is 5 additional dog kennels and an additional room that we can house cats or whatever needs to be in there.
I'm sorry, I'm just catching up on this. So you're adding on and
Yes.
improving? That's what
Yes,
you're doing? Okay.
It hasn't had much work done on it since it was built in 1999.
And your original hope was to do it for 75,000? And the bid's 170,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and when that was put in, I don't think a lot was looked into how much the construction materials would be. Or the labor.
Have we, where are we at with the count?
That's right.
Can we ask?
Well,
that
starting at the very beginning
executive
there,
session?
is there anything that we can do to get your air conditioning up and running sooner than later? Because we're gonna have animals that are gonna be melting.
JRC has generously brought us a portacool and I don't know what it is, it's like the stand AC for the inside. Okay, and then they're also bringing 2 more window units tomorrow to make it bearable. So this is all JRC offering us this stuff and letting us keep business running.
If you need another window unit, I have one.
Sounds like you got your air conditioner solved. We'll just stick with that.
Stick to the $75,000 budget.
Okay, council, about this increased cost, it's substantial.
Yeah.
Troy and I had a short discussion. I want to do what we need. Is there anything that we don't have to do?
Not really.
Okay. Troy, have you looked at these bids and gone through them?
They're so expensive. The only thing you have to do is cut the number of stalls that you are adding. I just wonder, is there any type of grant out there?
I mean, I'm on a TNR grant for our cats in the town, but as far as any other grants, I'm not aware of. I mean, I'm working with rescues right now. I'm working on everything I can do right now. We have gone, I'm just gonna give you some numbers. 2023, our live release rate was 38%, which means I was euthanizing 62% of the animals that were coming in. At this point, what adding these kennels will do is help to move that to not have to euthanize as many. 2024, I was able to bring our live release rate up to 68%. As of right now, if we can add these kennels and keep everything going the way it's going, we're looking at the no-kill shelter facility status at 80 to 90% live release rate. I need this in order to meet those standards. I mean, y'all see Facebook. Don't call the animal shelter, they're just gonna euthanize it. That's what I deal with on a daily basis. People won't call because there's a dog running on the street because animal control's just gonna kill it.
You know, I'm gonna say it. This city is financially healthy. and I love pets. We budgeted is what we did. We didn't put the appropriate out in there. We're a big city. We're gonna grow more. We need to promote some of these spaying and neutering things as well, but what we have now is, I think, a requirement to fix this, my opinion.
I could agree.
Where are we at, like, on the capital budget, like on our capital projects budget?
I mean,
And I think
look,
that's
we
where I
came in-
land before approving.
We came in $590,000 under budget last year.
Oh,
So-
man, we're good.
You know,
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
You got money.
I mean, we do have the money. And I mean, you know, when you look at animal shelters in other counties and cities, you know, they're spending millions of dollars on this. So I know it's a lot for us, but when you take into consideration, we haven't done anything since it was built. That's a long time to go without any incremental building
And some
along
of
the
this
way.
is going in to put insulation in places that's already built that doesn't have insulation.
Yeah.
I mean, make it
Who
more
is-
cost
Who on the
effective.
council has been in the animal shelter? Okay.
George built it.
You can see how inadequate it is when you go in. I mean, it's full. We don't have space. It's unfair to me, to the pets. And, you know, once again, there are things we're gonna have to do in this city. They're gonna cost some money. If we can light a water tower, we can build an animal shelter that will work. We got the professional right here telling us what we need. Do we depend on her opinion, or do we just say, oh, made a bad decision on the budget? Yes, ma'am.
I'm probably the last person that's not involved here, but I could probably guarantee if knowing this was on the docket, there would have been a lot of people here for that. And this is one thing you can do to make people applaud you, because there are so many animal lovers in the country. And this would be something that would really make people feel good about your decisions.
And I don't think any of us are against it. I was just wondering if we had the money for it.
Yeah, sure.
And so, but what he's saying is, like, we did really
Yeah.
well last year.
So you got it.
And so, yeah.
Well, we have,
Oh,
yeah, something, I'm sorry, I can't.
yep, you keep looking that way.
George is actually
There's more this way.
And maybe George might have a question. I got a couple of questions for you. Because first of all, I'm going to start out with saying, I love the idea and I want to do it. Okay, I'll start with that. Now, with that being said, we've had some discussions about maybe doing a county city thing. My concern is if we ever did materialize to a county city thing, where we're now absorbing the counties, is 5 kennels really going to be enough? That's my first question, because now you just went your 80-90% that you were praying for back down. So that's my first concern. So that's just something I want us to think about. The other thing is it feasibly sound to extend onto the existing building, or should we build a new building right next to it and utilize both buildings? And then, I'm just trying to think, is it more feasible to have something that's more current, more energy efficient, more appropriate? That's all. I had a third question. I can't remember what it was. So those were my two, but those are the two biggies. I'm just concerned about whether or not.
So to answer the first question, if we did intermix with the county, no, 5 kennels is not gonna be enough.
Well, then we have another purse string to draw from, one. But two, we can't make decisions for our city based on what might happen with the county. It's a good point, Rich, no doubt about it, but.
Well, we don't want to start construction now, get it completed, and then in 6 months or a year, that does materialize.
Yeah, well, we
And
can't
then
know
we're-
that.
And then we're doing another construction project.
I will say this in any discussions we have, and we have had them with them and talking about giving them animal control. They're not interested in animal control, I don't believe. So that could change, obviously, but I don't think we can make this decision. George, you got any wisdom?
I would say that, I mean, we haven't had a significant upgrade to the facility since '99 when it was built. It's time to, kind of, as Troy says, and as you said, Mayor, it's time to kind of put our money where our mouth is and make the upgrades to the facility. I don't want anybody having to work in 90-degree weather, and I don't want a dog and cat in the same position.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll move to approve 200,000, 30,000 on top of the bid, so make sure she has enough there. To approve 200,000 for the Glen Rose Animal Shelter remodel by Longhorn Construction 70. Yeah, that stops right there. I'm sorry. Longhorn Construction.
All in favor? I didn't have a
that.
second, I'm sorry. I second, I jumped right in there, didn't I? Rick, Councilmember Brennan seconded. All in favor? 5-0.
I know you worked really hard, and I can't wait to show up and see you there working with something that you're proud of.
Stuart will probably volunteer one day a week at the shelter.
Friday
Well, I
afternoon.
started to bring everybody cats and dogs tonight.
So my question is, did you catch the dog that was out?
We're still working on it.
Okay.
I did remember
Don't
my
catch
last
my
question
dog.
for you.
All right, go ahead, Rich.
Are they gonna do some improvements to the existing facility? Because we've talked
Well,
about
you
how.
mentioned about
it's-
insulation.
Doing some insulation.
Is that it?
And
Hope they're doing more than just that.
We do the electrical,
redoing the electrical,
installation.
windows,
Re-roofing.
doors, re-roofing. The roof is terrible. If you've driven by, the roof is atrocious.
Just want to make sure the
When is it
existing
starting?
building is being
When
brought
will
up.
it start?
He said, Dwayne said he can get going pretty quick
All right.
once this.
So let's find out what pretty quick is. Put some timetable on it.
Yes, sir.
You know how people these days, well, I got another project. I'll be over there directly. Whatever that means.
I'll tell you, he asked me at the band concert the other night if I got it approved yet, so he's ready to get ready.
I'll call him
Okay.
first thing in the morning.
Well, thank you. That's a success, council. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine by the city council. They can be enacted in one motion. If you have any separate discussion of any of the items on the consent agenda, we will vote on them independently. Any motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole?
I make that motion.
All right, second. Second by Councilmember Bruning. All in favor of approving consent agenda as a whole? 5-0. Moving on. All right, staff reports. Jim is not here. Buck?
Wait, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What's the update on the Bernard sidewalk?
So they picked contractors and, I think they're almost ready to
They got all
start.
the signatures, they got everybody signed?
Yeah, everybody signed. Jim said, told me recently, well, a couple of days ago, that he thought within 2 weeks they'll be underway.
I thought that's what he had said.
Finally.
Good.
Man, that is amazing. I drove down there this weekend and there was a gentleman out there with his family and pushing a stroller.
Yeah.
And he would just wave to kind of wave people off, you know. I mean, this is wonderful.
I don't think it'll take them more than 2 or 3 weeks to finish it either.
The current sidewalks look so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
And do we have a sidewalk map that shows the safe
streets?
Yeah, the safe streets. Trig Overblow called me today and asked for one.
where it's gonna be built?
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
So we have that. If I can get that, whoever has it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Buck, sorry. That's a good question, by the way, thank you. All right, anything for Buck here? Laura, we don't talk during the meetings.
another glide competition the Saturday.
What?
Another glide
Yeah,
slide
yeah, I
competition.
understand. Folks, be ready for this weekend.
Oh.
This is not gonna be a easy weekend for this city. We've got Walnut Springs has a biker event, which nothing against bikes, but there's gonna be a lot of them there. Heiko has a steak cook-off that will be 300 vendors, 300 competitors alone. And we've got the spin out group coming again, so.
Good night. So is everybody organized to come in, like DPS or?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're gonna have, 8 or 9 DPS units, SO's gonna have everybody on staff and me and Kobe, so.
Y'all been doing a great job.
Trying to make sure they drive here safely.
Yeah.
It's going out there.
How much is this event costing all the law
Way too much,
enforcement
way
agencies?
too much. And not only the cost, but as I think Richard has said and Stuart, it's draining resources that might be needed for citizens of this county. So they're working on it. The county's doing what they can, and I promise you, they're looking at it, so.
What is the county doing? Rich, do you know?
They did create an ordinance, and you can probably allude to it better than I do, but it basically is a permit process fee that gives them 45 days that they have to in advance submit their permit to the county. And of course, it has to go through sheriffs and fire and so on, everybody's approval process. However, since these were all scheduled prior to that 45-day notice, that I believe their legal has just said, hey, let these happen and let's just implement this after the 45 days. Am I saying that about
Yes.
right? Kind of summarizing?
You had to have so much insurance also as well.
Right.
Insurance, I can tell you that there are other things, but there's security measures that don't need to be public, but there are other things that are being done to watch for underage drinking, for instance.
Oh, good.
That's been an issue. The first time we have someone 15 years old come out of that place and have a wreck, and it's not gonna be a good look. So, but they are taking measures for those things as best they can. And we got Buck and Colby to back them up.
So got that Crown Vic out there.
Have you scored a bunch of stop sticks from DPS?
We did get a couple.
Yeah.
Anything else for Chief Martin? Thank you, Buck. Appreciate it. Building and Planning Department. Okay. Good evening. Any questions? Any items you'd like answered?
No.
Stephen, you got anything that, now don't go into anything in depth, just anything on the surface you can talk
Just got one little thing on my report that I turned in. The House bill and Senate bills, I've got those listed. Those are gonna kill us. So I'm trying to stay on top of those and keep everybody informed.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Code enforcement, animal control, anything? Looks like we've lost that.
Yeah, she got her money and ran. Yeah.
It's Taco Tuesday, so she's gone.
Yeah.
We will not have a Convention and Visitors Bureau. Do we have any comments by any council member, anything? I have to say, I think the advertising's adequate. We got quite a show coming up on the 30th and 31st, and it's going to be a big event. We're going to need our police force again, and we're going to need lots of volunteers. We only have a few people left here, but we're going to need the help like we always do.
It should be good.
Well, City Secretary, what do you have?
Nothing. Anybody have any questions for me?
Well, let's say for council, she sent out today TML's October and Fort Worth dates, just so you can put it on your calendar and not schedule family vacations during that time.
On TML's and Fort Worth. Not to go very far.
Yeah, and I've asked that we not approve any overnight stay since they don't stay here when they come.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not going, because I don't think that 5 a.m. drive.
Troy, I have set aside 8 minutes for you.
All right. I won't need it all.
Good.
all those 7 may be actually getting this thing to turn on. So.
We won't hold that yet.
I did want to let you know the surveys for the parks grant have gone out. So you may start seeing, we'll gather, actually public management is going to gather all those up. And, but this will be a good chance we will probably see them hold some kind of forum for people to come and give their feedback on parks, trying to ascertain what kind of parks people are interested, which would you rather, soccer park or, other types of park. So these are all needed to get this big park spread.
What, has there been any response via the QR code that was posted on there have? Yes.
Probably a whole bunch, I would assume.
Love that. Oh, good. That's wonderful.
All the way in.
When do we get to see the results of that? Do you know? Have you seen?
You can probably log on there and do
Yeah,
it. You can probably get a password.
That was it.
You should have all the way in.
Click it right up there, yeah.
Okay, so these went up today.
Saw it.
So our
so
3
good.
monument
Great.
We have a
signs
I think our name.
look fantastic. So, that's
You won't be able to see
Blurry,
it up
he's not
there.
gonna be able to see it.
So it's a good upgrade.
That's right.
And the next thing would be to kind of clean up the corner.
We are in process, as you know. There is progress being discussed with the owner where the Welcome to Glen Rose sign is and the Massey sign. And we have made contact with the owners of that and are trying to reach an agreement for a long-term lease to put a real Welcome to Glen Rose.
Okay, I have one thing to say to that. If you do take that down or cover it, take it down because it was hand painted by Tanya Fonseca and I don't want it just to be covered up because that was hand painted.
No, it will be down.
Okay, I want to take it and save it. Don't throw it away. Don't.
This is kind of, our ideas have been, kind of a lighted event, something that will have solar lights that will show up very nice.
We need a digital,
Yeah,
we
you do
need
that.
we need a digital building.
And then we can change it
We have an ordinance against that.
You do have an ordinance against that.
And
Guess what?
Like
He wants a
digital
digital
signs.
board.
You did put an ordinance against that.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Ordinances can always be
Keep it
changed.
outside the city limits.
Well, then you, like that sign over there,
Okay, come on, guys, I gotta go to bed.
all right. I'm
You
good.
done? Thank you, Troy, that was a very short report. We've got mayor and council member reports here. You can say and visit on any subject you'd like. I'd like to say, welcome to Laurie. This is new, it'll take time to get used to it. I'm still getting used to it. Rich is welcome back. We have a good council. We want to work for the citizens, get things done, work together, and do it the right way the first time. And we're all privileged to be able to make these decisions. And we'll take them seriously, I know. So anybody have a comment or anything you'd like to say? George?
Congratulations to Rich for winning re-election, and congratulations to Lori, and glad she's joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations to you, Mayor. Welcome back.
For nobody wanting to be stupid enough to take this job.
And of course, congratulations to the mayor.
Well, I can tell you this, folks, you got 2 years, and then we're gonna have to let someone step up, election or not. I'm gonna be running for national office. I think so. Okay, we are going to close our regular meeting and recess to executive session at 8:27 p.m. in accordance with the provisions of Texas Open Meetings Law, Subchapter D, Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes, annotated in accordance with Section 551.071, consultation with an attorney regarding interlocal agreements, Section 551.074, personnel matters regarding Development Services Director, Section 551.074, personnel matters regarding Assistant Building Official. So we will now recess into executive session and be back at some point.
Good night. Give you a little bigger pad. You're welcome.
Lori,
I'm good, thank you.
You came for that? Let's stay for the whole thing?
No, I. And I
She just decided to stay.
because I had to pay for the kennel for my dog this morning, and I'm sure, right? So I might as well.